What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Let me message Mr. Nakamoto and let's see if he's ready. Exciting. I'm beat. I just ran 10 miles like an hour ago, so I'm fucking wiped. But we're gonna power through and do this. So everyone get their popcorn ready. What up? What up? What up? Welcome in. Just figured I'd start the space a couple minutes early. Let everybody in. I think the order of operations here is I'm gonna just have Brock on, and we're gonna chit chat for a little bit, see how that discussion goes, and then we'll bring a panel up, just have like a freestyle session, and go through there. But I want to go through and just kind of have him talk and explain everything. I'll have the Telegram open, the Brock CTO Telegram. If anybody has any especially important points to make, I'll be watching that. So throw your comments in there. So yeah, thanks for being here. Hopefully this moves us in the right direction. All right, Brock said, "Duh, he's coming. He's coming. Welcome, welcome." Guys, I don't know who didn't hear me say it a second ago. I know everybody's coming in, but I think we just want to have a little structure to this, so we're gonna have a little chit chat time with Brock for I don't know how long, until I run out of things to question him on, and then I'll bring people up and we can all have kind of like an open mic back and forth, and we'll see where we go. For those who don't know, Brock updated the proof of identity complementary document on his Instagram. If you guys want to pull that up, you can be following along. I think that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start going through just literally right at the top, and we'll walk through each piece. I think just important to note, there's a lot of information in there that doesn't look explicitly related or just like important, but it is his ancillary supporting detail to try to draw a character description of who he is, because proving who he is, obviously it obviously does rely on the keys, but there's a lot of other stuff we can discuss too before we get to that point. And I do want to get to that point. We'll ask him about the keys. We'll ask him about the wallets. I think honestly, for this thing to be really put to bed at the end of the day, is he has to sign something. Otherwise, you got a nice story, and you got a lot of accounts that are old. So I mean, we can talk about it, and that's good for us right here. But if we ever really want to officially, have Satoshi come out to the world, he's going to have to prove it in the one way that the world is expecting, or demanding that somebody prove that claim. So exciting, but we'll see. Once again, for everybody coming in, we're just gonna have Brock on for a little bit of first chit chat, go over the proof of identity document that he's put out on his Instagram. If you go to Brock Thib, BROCKTHIB, on his Instagram, you can look at his link tree there, and in his link tree, there's a document called the proof of identity complementary document. We're just gonna go over that to start. After we chit chat for a little bit, I'll start bringing some people up. We'll kind of have like an open discussion. And if you want to come up, just request, and we'll try to get through as many people as we can. I see Brock's in here, so we'll go ahead and bring Brock up. How's it going, man?
Going pretty good. How's it going for you?
Oh, I'm beat. I just ran 10 miles.
Nice, man. Where at?
Oh,
I mean, where? What kind of cardio do you do?
no, I'm training for a marathon later this year, so I'm just trying to.
Which one?
The DC, the Marine Corps Marathon in October.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've been trying to get after it, run a little bit, and the weekends are my long running days. So
Do you
this
run
is
on a
definitely
track or like a treadmill or?
no, just straight up on the road. Just go get out
Yeah,
there. And
I go for wait, it's the I haven't heard that, the Marine Marathon. What is it about?
it's in DC.
Nice. Yeah, I usually go for a 2 mile walk with my dog every day. Just get
There
some
you
good
go.
cardio.
Good.
Not 10 miles, but it's 10 miles. It's something.
Yeah, that length is definitely new for me. But okay, enough about that. Thank you. I just want to start by saying thank you for
Sure.
hopping on. I'm sure everybody's really excited to kind of keep diving into this and hearing it from the horse's mouth. I know a lot of people didn't get to be a part of the first space. I didn't even expect you to hop in on that first space. I think we had exchanged 3 messages before. I wanted to have the first space as just like a community deep dive, throw some light on the subject matter and get more people to look at it. And lo and behold, you hopped in. So that was crazy. I wish I would have recorded it. Didn't even record it, but I think somebody did screen record it. If you guys want to go back and listen to the first space, it's in the CTO team. No, CTO Telegram. You can find it on the decks. You can go scroll through all the media in there and try to find the screen recordings of that first conversation. Um, so,
Yeah, I just
Brock,
by
yeah.
the way, I didn't know how to use chat. This is one of my first spaces on X. I just this is my personal Goodreads I linked to as well. You were
What we
saying?
got going on there?
I just not my author's profile, but my personal, just so you can see what I'm reading if anybody cares about it.
Okay. I'm
You were
looking.
you were saying, good sir?
Yeah, okay. I want to have some structure to this, so I only wanted you up first. We're gonna chit chat about the proof of identity document. I kind of want to run through
Sure.
that
All
and
right.
touch on just kind of like from top to bottom. And then after we kind of exhaust that, we'll bring some people up, get some other thoughts, get some questions,
Yeah,
and then we'll see where
any
that takes us.
questions, any questions from the document? Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, like, we'll just get right into it. I'm not a pro at this, you guys, so you have to excuse me. I don't know how this fell into my lap. Maybe I'm just the retarded one enough to take it on and really deep dive into it. I mean, the account name is literally Flood Reaper. That's what we're hoping to do here today. So, once again, we're looking at the proof of identity complementary document, Brock, that you have updated on your link tree. Um, I like what you got here at the first because it was a little confusing, just kind of diving into this at first. But it says that uh, all notes on publications or correspondence on research methodologies, when not directly related to the development of Bitcoin, are ancillary or meant to add context to its influence on the Bitcoin white paper in the years during its development. Several types and kinds of publications, media, PC, Mac related software, and the like were notes of influence during the creation of Bitcoin. Um, a genuine, a genuinely honest effort has been made to list them all here, and this list has been updated frequently. So, am I correct in taking that this document is just supposed to be kind of like a character testimony and timeline um, for how you walked into coming up with Bitcoin? Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah, it's been for that, and also as a kind of way to like organize my thoughts and just to eat. Like, it's just nice to see because most people don't get like the like the background or what into the composition of a white paper or a research paper. Most of the time, it's kind of dull or boring. Sometimes it's interesting, but I got lucky because the way the document of the first white paper is organized, the way it looks is very clean and nice. But yeah, it's just a way for. I mean, usually one does not need to have to like go into the history of it. Like for instance, as a cross reference, if you go into like on my Orchid, for instance, like when someone publishes a paper, it asks,
Hmm.
okay, who was the person who funded it? Who was the person who supervised it? And it all gets very technical. So this is a way to kind of humanize it.
Gotcha. So just some actual personal detail and nuance behind the white paper.
Yeah,
That's
plus it's just a way to make the Satoshi, I don't want to call it a brand, but make it more human.
sure. Okay. So, starting at the top, you got your first full name right there, Lafayette, Louisiana, August 31st, 1988. And then David Foster Wallace. Who's that?
David Foster Wallace is a mathematician and a novelist. He passed away September 12th, 2008, unfortunately, but he was a very well-known novelist and mathematician who was very popular in the 90s and 2000s. His book his 2003 book, Everything and More, which is a book on math, kind of helped spur my interest in mathematics and cryptography.
Now, are you saying that you had like personal communications with him? Like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
really don't know enough about
just
Bitcoin
random
here.
emails. Just hey, like like I liked your book. Can you like describe what you meant by here? Kind of like how you and I message, but more mathematics based. Like he was teaching at the time, and like I was 15, I think, when I emailed him. And
Yeah, oh,
at that point, like I was really like I spent all my time on online mostly. If I wasn't going to school, I was online learning. So he was just a kind of
15.
one of the people that helped out, you know.
Okay. All right, then Satoshi Nakamoto, April 5th, 1975. What's the importance of the April 5th date there? I understand that to be like Satoshi's birthday is what they call it online, but like, what
It was
exactly is going on there?
randomly chosen, and plus the idea of like an old Japanese man who doesn't ever give up, or like an old samurai was just alluring.
Huh. But this is the April 5th date you're saying is just that date was just new, like when you're
Random,
signing up for a new account, you pick,
random,
we all do it, right?
completely
You
random.
pick a
Yeah, you just
random
scrolling
birthday.
through the ages. Yeah, you're scrolling through the stuff.
Okay. 10 days before tax days, federal papers were an influence on you. Initial decision to post pseudonymously. Okay. Kind of understand that. It's self explanatory. All right. And so we get down into the weeds here. 1998. Thinking/work for Bitcoin actually started in mid 1998 of October. Most of the coding, if you want to call that, occurred in late 2005 and 2007. What do you mean by that statement there? Most of the coding, if you wanted to call that, would there not
It's
be a
because I guess that's kind of meant to clear up. The original paper was it has an MIT license, which is meant for software, which uh, some people argue it should have been a Creative Commons 4.0 international license or whatever else is necessary at the time. But it's because the white paper is I mean there's code, sure, but the code is open source, and the code was released as part of the Bitcoin core. So that it's like the code and the software. No one knows whether it's code or software, which is kind of why it's open source.
Hmm. Okay, we can circle back to that in a little bit later.
Sure.
MIT LooseNet.com, June 5th, 1998. Why are we putting in LooseNet and MIT there? What's the connection between that?
That was just a random. Like I found the website. It was a social network before there was social networks. I don't
Yeah, I
know
checked
how
it
I
out. It
found
was
it.
hella
Yeah,
old school.
he's actually in my. If you go on my friends list, the people who I follow, he actively posts Philip Greenspun, and you can contact him if you want to. The website is still up. You can go and look through all the posts. There's a lot of them.
So you're saying that this was like one of the first sites that you were posting on as a kid. It kind of introduces
Yeah,
you to online, like forums and posting online.
yeah, yeah. And he also is like an expert in medical databases and whatnot. He has books on Amazon. You can check out.
Okay. Is it worthwhile diving in through all of this? I mean, I see like
It's
some
very
numbers.
technical, but the forum posts on LoseNet are interesting. There's a bunch of old people just arguing about gold, the gold standard, economics. It's a bunch of Y2K posts. It's a good like trip down memory lane
How
down
old were
like
you when you were on this site?
10, 10 years old.
Okay, so in 1998, you're really into Pokemon in 1998. Pokemon must have like just came out, right? Like it wasn't in 19
It was
released in
just getting popular. Like
1998.
oh yeah, I was really into it. I would go and like have like live Pokemon battles with friends. I was a huge Pokemon nerd. Still am.
Hmm.
They're worth a lot. I
Aren't
think
we all?
they're coming back. Yeah.
I am too. Okay, so I'm just kind of going through here. 9 days later, we've got to just. I mean, so this first section is just kind of like an illustration of how you were posting online as an early teen,
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's just because like I had no idea what I was doing, and I used my full name. So it's one of the earliest instances online of my full name. And
mm,
if no one can find it on the Wayback Machine or if it really is if it's not there anymore, I have backups and screenshots that I can provide pretty easily, and I can
yeah,
update the
there's a lot.
document.
I tried looking through it yesterday. There's just a lot of
There's a
threads on there, and
It
it's
has
not
thousands
super
and
simple.
thousands and thousands of pages. It's kind of like if you were to find it back in the day, you'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Okay, yeah. I mean, I like once again, like I think the purpose of this document is not like to definitively prove who you are, who you're saying you are. It really does a good job of like providing color, background, and detail, like a testimony, like a
Yeah,
like a
it's a
character
good way to put it. Yeah.
reference. I get that. Um, but so I guess we're gonna rock through all this, but then I think most of my questions are gonna just be a little bit off of this. paper as itself. I want everyone to go through it. I want us to talk over it. I think it's important. It's just I think once I don't know, there's other questions to get to. All right, so we're rolling through here, page two. The Acadian flag. You mentioned that on the first call the other day. Can you go over that again? What exactly are you
Yeah, the
talking about there?
Acadian flag, where I'm from, is a place called Acadiana. It's kind of like a lower region of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's not an ethnic group. It's kind of like the first settlers of Louisiana when the Cajuns and the Acadians were expelled from Canada and from Nova Scotia. They kind of settled there, and so the flag itself has a French influence, and it's very kind of American French. If you look at the flag kind of like helped as a graphic
But what does
like
that have to
piece.
do? What are you trying to tie this
Well,
into here?
if you read into it, it includes that Byzantine generals problem that I mentioned in the first talk, which is a heavy cryptography problem that was trying to be solved, which helps Bitcoin. But it's kind of like looking at if you look at the flag, it has a red bottom with a gold castle, a blue top with
Mhm.
white fleur de lis on it, and a gold star. And this what the flag was was invented by a professor at UL Lafayette, which is where I went to school, in 1971, around the same time that the gold standard was removed. So it was just an interesting, it just something that is not related to currency that helped develop Bitcoin. I know it seems weird, but it's true.
Okay. Crap, I
If
just
you
lost
Google
it.
the flag, you'll kind of understand why.
All right, let me get back to my link here. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, still a little fuzzy on that, but maybe it requires a little bit more detail to really fully understand. But okay. Yeah. I mean, what is there anything else you want to touch on here? I'll give it over to you. This is
Yeah.
your
Plus, I mean,
time to kind of
just
shine, right? Like,
that's how nerdy and mathematical and numbers based it is. Like just the fact that the flag has a one gold star and three fleur-de-lis, like it had an effect on like the date to publish on like to start the blockchain on January 3rd. Like that's like like I said, that like the document itself kind of helped. Like it's
what's
helps you like go.
January 3rd? Oh, I'm sorry. What was?
That's when the Bitcoin blockchain was first started. Yeah.
And you did
So
that
like
intentionally because of the flag and the one fleur de
no, it
lis and
was
the
just
three.
a note of influence. Like I said, like one of the things that it helped organize my thoughts. Like one of the things that maybe not entirely directly, like I didn't do it because of the flag, but just the fact that well, my brain's very numbers based.
Hmm.
Just kind of way to elaborate on it.
Okay, we'll keep moving on here. We're going to jump down through the next section from 1998 to 2000, 2001. We're skipping the Sacagawea thing. Um, we've got some more information here in 2002 when you're on AOL Messenger. You list a screen name there,
Yeah,
another
I
numerical
actually
coincidence.
I didn't know this, but when I was writing this document, you can go back and you can request to see if your AOL screen name is still active. Most of them are not, but you can actually there's a email and a hotline number you can call AOL to see if your account is still active.
Well, is that account connected to anything Satoshi, like
No, well,
Satoshi
I
account?
mean, the numbers itself have a kind of like a very,
Yeah, what
very
are you trying to say
loosely.
there with the 1 minus 3 and plus minus 7 plus 2 equals
That was
so
kind of like
okay.
me trying to figure out like what was the reason for me like it's just me
Was
thinking
there a
within the
reason you
document.
chose January 3rd, or are you just saying that there's a lot of coincidental,
A lot of
circumstantial
coincidental
coincidence?
stuff. A lot of coincidental stuff. Yeah.
Was there a specific reason why you started in January?
Well, the housing crisis and the global financial crisis is one. It had to
Right. So,
happen.
um, okay. Let's keep going. I think a lot of people just need to go through here and just read it for themselves. There is a lot of interesting information in there. I like
One
especially
of
the part where
my favorite
the
ones is the Anton Chigurh
which is that.
screenshot with the same date as my first post on the internet. It may seem weird, but that movie is one of my favorite movies. And the fact that he's have you ever seen
Yeah.
that movie?
No, I don't like a lot of these things we just keep talking about are coincidences, and I'm trying to
Yeah, it's
instill
just nice
confidence into
coincidences.
people, and it's like, we just keep talking about coincidences, and
But that's one of my favorite movies. And definitely in that movie, like the fact like the
which
door
movie is that?
numbers, No Country for Old Men. Like stuff in that movie, like you'll find this in like different cryptocurrencies and different software design and stuff like that. Like stuff like this are like small like hints of influence. You'll find so.
I get it, but there's no like direct correlation between like you didn't
No,
reference that in any post as
no,
Satoshi on the
no. But I
Bitcoin
do
talking
watch that
post.
movie a lot to kind of just background noise.
Uh huh. Okay. What are these pictures here in 2004? The abstract pictures. Explain those.
Oh, the that's the photo of my room back in '04 and
Nope.
'05.
The abstract paintings. What is this? Just
Oh
again,
yeah,
give us some
that
more
was
detail.
I also do artwork, and that's kind of like those were art pieces, if you want to call them that, that I was like working on to kind of trying to help out the thinking for Bitcoin.
Okay. Um, was this around the same time in 2004 when you started coding, or can you talk a little bit about your early coding experience and
Yeah, yeah, I
what
started
how'd
coding
you?
really early on in HTML and doing basic web design, and then I'm sure you'll see this in other areas. Once you get into C++, Objective C, your brain
Mhm.
kind of doesn't leave that area. Like I still think in C, and C is a very old language, and Bitcoin is in C as well. It's a very old language. Like I had to force myself into thinking
Mhm.
it. Yeah. And back in the day, like Yahoo.com was coded in Ajax, which is kind of different, kind of the same kind of coding. But at this time, I was learning math, basic math, and coding.
How did you get into coding? Like, what was like,
I
a
just
lot of
love
kids,
computers.
playing Pokemon, but how do you?
Love computers, and the fact that like you know how when you first got on the internet and like you just every now and then you'll go to web you'll like go like view page source and like scroll through the code, stuff like that. And plus back in the late '90s, like GeoCities, like formatting your MySpace, stuff like that.
Okay. I'm reading some of the comments in the Telegram right now, and somebody wants me to ask questions, kind of along the same lines of this
There's a Telegram.
coding. Yeah, we've got a Telegram group. If you go to I don't know how to post this without referencing the coin, but um, all right, I just want to ask like, okay, we'll ask the question. So, what
All right.
is there? Is there an exact reason why you chose the elliptic curve SECP 256K1 over other cryptographic curves? Maybe this is a good segue into talking about cryptography. I understand it's a little bit different than mathematics, so maybe.
Cryptography is very boring. Very boring. Very boring
I
study to
think
it.
just wouldn't you say that that's kind of a I'm sure
It's
I'm probably gonna fall asleep, but shouldn't we talk about it and then
those
maybe you can
those
kind of
decisions were
explain?
made. Yeah, those decisions were made because it was the most secure at the time. Yeah, that's it.
You don't want to expand on that at all?
Man, I would love to talk to about it, but I just don't know where to start.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of ambiguous. Cryptography is general kind of ambiguous. I guess if you want to start back on the document, we can go through
I
there.
don't
Like
think it's it. Well,
oh
I
four
mean,
oh
like this is
five.
where I'm gonna
Yeah.
fail as an interviewer to give you ask questions, but I'm just gonna
Oh no, it's
tell you
fine.
straight up. I don't love
Like
that
oh
answer
five,
right
like
there. I don't think anybody in the, what do we think of that answer? Is there an
the
emoji? Like,
eBay,
is there a
like the eBay screenshots, like those are just kind of like coincidences, you know?
the eBay screenshots you have here? Yeah, I see. Yeah, there's Satoshi. What is this? The eBay listing confirmed for a 24K gold-plated set. This is a screenshot of an email you have listed on page 11 here, from October 24th, 2004.
Yeah.
Um,
That was from
and
I tried to sell like a collectible, like a gold coin, and no one bought it. But the dates itself are kind of interesting. Just
I mean, they're old for sure. And you've got the Smirnoff
old stuff.
171 Gmail there, and it says Satoshi Nakamoto. But then you have it. Why do you have a deer and then your name scratched out there? I found that
Oh no,
strange.
I trying to protect whoever you don't know, like some kind of protecting of some kind of personal information.
I mean, just what it looks like it'd just be your name, right? Dear blank, your item has been successfully listed on eBay.
Oh no, is that eBay listing still active? Did you try and pull it up?
No, I did not go try to find the listing from 2004. I'm just
Maybe if
wondering why
someone
you
could.
scratched out the name on the email that you're trying to show as proof of
I
you
think
having that email address.
that is my email address, and I can prove it however you want. But I think I was a minor back then, and it was listed underneath one of my parents' names.
Okay. And that's what you're trying to, you don't want to show your parents' name there?
No.
I mean, I think that probably going to become pretty, public information pretty quickly here. I think we saw somebody called Jim Thibodeaux online that looked like he was from your
There's a lot of
area.
Thibodeaux, man. There's a lot of
Yeah,
Thibodeaux.
there's a lot. This one I mean, it was funny because he had a Brock Thibodeau Special Ranger. Happy birthday post or something. I don't want to, if that's creepy or something, but yeah, I mean, people are
Where
gonna
at?
look into it. Doesn't look it. All right. Um, Man, Genesis block his mind. Second bailout for Banksy. I mean, yeah. Once again, I do like this as a character detail, and it's like
Thank you.
it is coherent enough, I guess, as like your train of thoughts, trying to articulate who you are, the person that was, and the lead up to becoming the person that would post online anonymously and create Bitcoin. I guess let's. I want to ask, like, I guess, why'd you leave? Why? What was the reason? Why'd you leave?
It was
Why was
because you have to. I mean, you have to, and it's Bitcoin is not meant to have a leader, and plus I had other things going on at the time, which sounds
How do you reconcile that
s-
statement with what we're doing now?
I don't know, I don't know, but that's the way it had to be. We had to leave.
Did you see it going and getting bigger, and you could see, like, I mean, what do you mean, like,
I
why
didn't
did you
follow for
have
a
to leave?
I didn't follow for a long time afterwards, but I think back starting in 2015, 2016, I was starting to try and get back into it, like reading about it. But you
Reading
had to leave.
about Bitcoin?
Yeah, and crypto in general. Uh, but one of the reasons why I went hike the Appalachian Trail was just to try and get away from it again, get away from like computers in general, because I worked in IT my entire life. So
So you just left because you felt like it had to be on its own, like it was its own entity
yes,
at that
sir.
that
Yes,
point.
sir. Yeah, man. It seems weird. Like you just someone just
And who did
leaves.
you say? I forget. Like you said, it's in good hands with who?
Gavin. It's in good hands now.
And who?
Gavin and who else was it?
I don't know. Like Google it. Who is?
Gavin is one of the guys who went one of the early guys.
You never reached out to any of them later. Have you reached out to them now? Have you kind of told them about your plans
I've
to
only
come
been
out?
back for a couple of weeks. But yes, I'm gonna reach out to them and others as well. But I imagine they won't get back to me immediately. But all we can do is try.
And this is kind of like your first, like, you're building up a attempt to you know substantiate your claims here. Like, you've got a lot of
Yeah,
screenshots from old stuff.
yeah. But
um
also, I'm also starting that R&D and venture capital company, which is
I
going to
mean, okay, so
be.
short of provide just signing something on the blockchain, because look, I totally get you sign something on blockchain, it definitively proves you're back. Maybe we want to do a soft launch rather than just blasting a signature across the chain, right?
Well, how do you
So like,
propose we do that?
I was gonna ask you, you're the mastermind.
Well,
I'm not, I don't mean to be snarky right there,
I've
but
been
I was just
thinking a
like,
lot about it. I've been thinking a lot, and I think I want to do it around the same time when the strategic Bitcoin reserve happens, which could be any day now. I know it sounds weird, but I think it only helps. Like it
could you
could be
talk
this
about, like, I
week.
mean, like, you surely have a hard drive, a computer. Like, do you not have any of that information? Like, I mean, what type of like logs and transaction data, or initial, like, I don't even know. Like,
These are all
there's got to
stored,
be
yeah,
like initial states,
online,
right?
yeah,
Like, do you have
online
that? Like, wouldn't that be the
emails. Yes, I have all that. These are all stored in online emails, online in the cloud, on hard drive, stuff like that. Absolutely.
so that's not your. I mean, like, why did you ask me? Like, what do I propose? I feel like you
Well, I
have a
mean, it was
plan
just that's how conversation works, my friend. I mean, you ask me something, I ask you something. Someone says something. Not meant to be argumentative. It was just
No, I mean, I'm just trying to figure
asking
out.
for a
Like, I
why.
mean,
Yeah.
if you are who you are, I feel like you would understand the gravity of, like, the return, right? And you'd want to
Well, I
have
guess I wasn't.
something more than
I
just like
wasn't.
screenshots
I
of.
didn't grasp what you said. When? How do you? I was asking, how do you mean, like by logs and stuff like that?
What type of logs could you provide? Like, I mean, some from a technical standpoint,
You
what do you?
you could provide not sans signing a key. You could provide old passwords, screenshots. You can provide actual emails. Like you can download the email, send it to someone, and they can check all of the MX records, which shows everywhere it hopped along the routes and switches. and has email addresses. You could include all of the emails from the old GMX account. A lot of stuff. It's a lot.
I'm just hearing a lot of emails. I feel like I mean I'm not the expert here, but I thought there would be more of a technical explanation of like, here are the early states of code that we tested, and here's this virtual machine, or here was a machine that we were running here to do the initial. I don't know. Like once again, this is where I'm gonna fail horribly to be able to ask technical questions that are good enough. So I hope somebody in the audience is ready to
Yeah,
go
you
here
wanna
with
you
some
wanna
good
have
technical
someone try
questions.
and you wanna open up to someone who can ask.
Yeah, okay. You guys, who wants to come up and talk? I don't want no glazing. We're still gonna, we're trying to, dig in here. Who's got some real good questions for Mr. Brock Thibodeaux this evening? All right, we have 3 requests. I see we have Felix. We might just get some more glazings, but how do I get this out of here? All right, we'll throw up the 100. Hetty, let's go. We'll bring up Hetty. Hey, Hetty, how are you?
Good, are you, Reaper?
I'm
What's
I'm
up,
hanging in
bro?
there. You have a
Good to talk
question?
to you guys again.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I wrote a few questions earlier this morning because we were digging through it last night. We were digging through your proof of identity document. Um, well, first of all, off the bat, the first question I had after rereading your proof of identity was, are you working with someone to write this, or is someone writing this for you? Because it's obviously in third person, the whole document.
No, I
So
wrote it myself. I wrote it myself, which I hate writing in third person, but I guess just the way it had to be. But no, it's just me writing it.
okay. Yeah, I was wondering that because it was just super third person like, but we figured it could be. Um yeah, I did wanna I know Reaper just touched on it briefly, but I did want to ask you again about the last message you signed off as Satoshi. The it's in good hands with Gavin.
Right.
Uh so like what when you did that, you said you haven't reached out to Gavin, you haven't reached out to anyone since then. Were you anonymous at the time when you guys were communicating, or was it?
Yeah, these are private messages. I was still anonymous. I haven't reached out to any of them yet, but I'm going to. It's just the fact that most of these people, Satoshi's been going for so long that they either won't see the email, they won't believe it, or it'll take forever. But I am going to reach out to them.
But you were the only anonymous one because obviously in that message you referenced Gavin by his name, or I don't know how I was working at the time between you guys.
Yes, I was the only one.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I have a few more questions, but I'll let anyone else ask. I don't want to hoard up the space, but appreciate you.
Um, all right, we'll go through. How about this? We're gonna do something very extremely smooth brained here. I've typed into ChatGPT. What are some good technical questions for someone claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto? Are you ready? Would you
Yeah,
let's
bring it
go.
on. Yeah. All right.
All right, so number two. This will just start with the design decision. So it asks, why did you choose a SAH or SHA-256 for Bitcoin instead of another hash function like a SHA-3 or a Blake?
SHA and the AES, the whole suite of hashing function is the most secure out there. I mean, you can't get better than that. I mean, it can process trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions per second. That's why all the miners and nodes. That's why it sounds so loud when they're running the blockchain or and mining stuff. It's because you can't hack into it. It's undefeatable. It's the gold standard.
Okay, so it's just the best processing or the best cryptology
Yeah, it can't
processing
it can
process.
it can't be hackable. It's impossible. If it is, they haven't found a way yet. Like quantum computers can't hack this.
Okay, so then across the same lines as why does Bitcoin use double SHA-256 for block hashing instead of a single SHA-256?
It's because it has to be the most secure possible. And then if it needs to, it'll go to SHA 512. If it needs to, it'll
Yeah,
go
okay.
up the
Oh,
next one.
Jedi, I see you in the Telegram, bro. Like, I'm not trying to take credit for your ideas. I'm doing something smooth brain myself. I'm just trying to work on the fly here. I see your requesting as well, so we will get to you, my brother. I promise. Um, So yeah, I mean, it asks again. So like, what are your thoughts on an alternative elliptic curve choice instead of SECP 256K1? Like, what are you like?
There's there's always an option for that, but then because the
What is that
Bitcoin,
option?
that's man, that's really technical. I mean, what exactly do you mean by that? Like, how do you mean just that one
What is the
alternative?
elliptic curve? Like, what are we talking about there? Like,
It's just a function of cryptography. It adds more security. That's the most simple answer I can give. But if any like updates like that, like because that's the reason why they have the Nakamoto consensus back in the day, and that's why consensus is the way it is because every single I want to call them entity has to agree on the update, or if not the actual update, then well the way the open ledger works is every single node and miner has a copy of the actual ledger. But like Bitcoin core coders and developers, they also have to agree on the updates itself. So that's kind of a multifaceted question. But I get why you're asking it. But those are very technical, and I mean I would love to talk about it, but it would take
when you
forever,
say
and
they have
people's
to
eyes would glaze
agree, is that
over.
like a passive thing, or like I mean, that kind of implies like a vote? Like, or what does that mean? Like, they agree because they all or the majority of the nodes decide to move to that, or what do you mean by agree?
Well, yeah, like it's easily like all the nodes and miners can easily reject something that's not secure, but the actual physical human developers who are part of Bitcoin Core and who also release like versions of the Bitcoin itself, like they also have to agree. Like the Bitcoin Core has its own GitHub and website, which you can kind of like view the docs. And on the GitHub, you can see all the releases. Every time they release a new Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin version, you can see like all of the reasons why they did stuff. So that's more of a if you go on my GitHub, I have underneath one of the pages I've starred, it has Bitcoin. You can view all of the history every time they do something.
Hmm. Okay, another question here says, what was the reasoning behind the use of base 58 encoding instead of base 64 or another method?
No, no, I'm not going to answer that. That's just too technical. The reason why it was better. That's why.
Come on, Brock, you got to give us something better than that, right? Like, I mean,
All
I'm
right.
trying
Well,
to.
someone in the chat answered why use the Merkle tree. The Merkle tree is because it allows someone to verify something without having to download the entire blockchain. That's the Merkle tree, like I mentioned in my new paper, you can attach something directly to the Merkle tree if you want to do that. But the Merkle tree allows it's just cryptography. It allows more simple operating with the blockchain than not having to interact with the entire blockchain itself.
Okay. Um, Man, once again, I just feel completely out of my wheelhouse to be talking to someone of your caliber and
It's all
expertise
good,
here. I
man.
really do. Like, even the answers that you give me, I have no way of knowing whether or not they're verifiable or correct or anywhere
Do you
within
want
the
to get
scope
someone
of
else who
things.
can answer a question?
Yeah, I
Maybe
wish.
someone else.
I mean, we'll bring in Jetta. All right, here we go. All right, what is up, Jetta?
Thank you, bro. Jesus. All right. Number one, what's good, Brock? Nice to speak to you.
What's up, man? I like your avatar.
That's that you said what?
Said I like your avatar, man. It reminds
All
me
right.
of a Star Wars character.
Yeah, I appreciate that, homie. All right. First of all, I want to say just thank you for your time. Obviously, you coming to speak to us is like a big deal. Yeah. Um. Also, I'll be forthcoming and say right that the idea of asking ChatGPT what are some questions that only Satoshi would know is an idea of mine that I put in the group, right? Because I like thought definitely we should ask you some really specific questions that shouldn't only be based on the white paper, right? And some tough things. Now I know you said last time, right, that you would be willing to sign a key and everything, which obviously like due to some safety concerns would be just like in person, whatever, like arranging that could probably be a little difficult, right? But I I suppose like even just going back to this thing about you creating, let's just talk about impact first, right? Like, do you yourself understand the impact of being gone for so long? And then just now, like obviously you can understand how ironic it feels to the people here, right? We're just like classic Solana nerds that are trading meme coins and then all of a sudden you engage with us, right? Like what exactly prompted you to join a space and start revealing yourself? Like, because apparently this would be like the first time any place ever, right? That you would pop out and confirm your identity. Like, what prompted you to do that in the first place?
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good question. Very good question. I'm just beginning to understand. I mean, it's a huge thing, but I'm pretty comfortable with it. I hope that comes through, but it's just because it feels right, and it also feels good to have an administration that actually is friendly. Like
Hmm.
it's because they're just so friendly from the beginning. It was like, well, I guess maybe, but I kind of made the decision to come back mid last year, and like I
Hmm.
said, like writing the paper, writing the complimentary paper, and doing the YouTube and all that stuff. It helps, but it's also a
Hmm.
lot for me as well. And like I said earlier on Twitter or X, like someone said, why the hell would Satoshi come and talk to people? Well, why the hell not? I mean, the Bitcoin's made for everyone. Crypto's made for everyone, but the idea of like waiting around for blue chip like top quality podcasts and the news media, I don't really have a desire to go on legacy media. I think legacy media is toxic in a way. But talking to
Hmm.
people like you, I mean, why the hell not?
Right. All right, so I mean, obviously you supporting just people like who are involved with crypto, right? On like sort of like a ground level, is appreciated, right? And I should say like I'll be forthcoming, right, about my position, like right, like I'm on the side of obviously this is something to be skeptical about, right? Like this is something to definitely question, like whether or not you're
Right,
speaking to the real Satoshi Nakamoto. I'll say
right.
me and myself, I don't think that this is glazing. I mean, I believe you, right? Like I don't think that all of these things, because once again, you'd either have to be Brad Pitt, like the best actor of all time, right? Or clearly you're somebody who's connected to this project and who he says he is, right? The founder. Um, but another question that I have is did you ever like use any of Bitcoin for personal transactions like since its creation?
Yes, I have bought Bitcoin like outside of the ones I already own, just to mess around with it,
Hmm.
and I've used like
Hmm.
testnet and whatnot, but it was outside of the wallets that are from the old back in the day. But yeah, I have personal Bitcoin. I bought a lot of Doge. I don't have any Solana, but I do have plans to buy some NFTs and whatnot. But yeah, I do have Bitcoin outside of the ones I do all the old wallets. Yeah.
All right. Another question I have, and I'm gonna go back to this, right? Like I think that this is an important question. I'm gonna be completely honest with you and say that I don't know the answer to this question, right? So me even asking it again, it was already asked to you. It's not like, I mean, to be completely honest and forthcoming, you could say whatever you wanted, and I wouldn't really know the specific answer, right? But that was one of the questions that came up in Chat GPT when I asked it. And I'll give you the exact prompt that I asked it, right? So I'm just full transparency to not only you and everyone on this chat. I asked ChatGPT if someone claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, they would need to answer highly specific questions. And what would be those questions that only Satoshi Nakamoto would know, right? And one of them in a section called Early Development and Technical Details, the first question was, what was the exact reason you chose the elliptic curve SECP256K1 over other cryptographic curves? Now, granted, you're saying that it's a pretty technical question. I mean, a technical response that like probably no one would answer. And I already said that I already admitted that I you could say whatever and I wouldn't know the truth, right? But like, is there anything you can say more to that aside from that? It's just difficult. That would once again give some indication that you are who you say you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main ideas is it saves space, it's more secure. But
Hmm.
I'll be honest. The fact that that question uses Chat GPT, Chat GPT is OpenAI, right?
Yeah.
I don't I really don't like OpenAI. I mean, I'll answer your question, but I'll admit full throated that I think
Hmm.
Sam Harris and OpenAI is a scam.
Okay.
I think OpenAI, the fact that they're open source is nice, but I'll be honest, I don't like Sam Harris itself. OpenAI is nice, but the fact that that elliptical curve was used, it saves space. It works better. It's not the most 1000% secure, but it just works better with Bitcoin, and that's the most honest, simple answer I can give. I can go and I can give you a 40-page essay and
Sure.
talk
I'm
to you more
sure.
about it, but it's because
Of course.
this is why I'm speaking to you guys is because it helps me and other people make it more human. That way other people can understand crypto, because one of the main things people say is, don't talk to me about crypto, don't explain Bitcoin to me because it's too technical. But the reason why that was chosen, and I'm sure you won't get this with OpenAI or ChatGPT, is because it just works better with how Bitcoin keys are created and how they're stored.
Got you. And then I have one more question. What, and if you could confirm this, right? Like, so apparently there was a hidden message that was embedded in the Genesis block. Could you say like what one of those hidden messages were?
I wouldn't call it hidden. I mean, the reason why the Genesis block was looks like it is because it had no previous block or anything to hash it. That's why it used a newspaper. But
Mhm.
the that yeah, have you ever? I'll give you an example. Have you ever tried to make it like open a Word document in like Notepad and it comes out all jumbled up with characters and whatnot? That's basically what you see. But like I make reference to this in the document, like it has the word banks, but then like four Y's afterward, which looks like Banksy. But I don't think there wasn't a specific hidden message. It just came out that way because there's nothing. It couldn't, like, the blockchain is not meant to interact with the newspaper, so that's why it looks the way it looks.
And when you say the newspaper, like what are you specifically referencing? Like when you talk about that?
Oh, the Times. Yeah, the Times. You'll see the Times is the paper that's referenced, and it references the chancellor is on the brink of this certain bailout and whatnot. Like it references that newspaper itself. It's a UK newspaper.
All right, so I want to say this here, and I want to pause, right? And I've explained this before, right? So we had like also full transparency, right? Like, and that to me is the final straw, right? Like I want to be clear on like my position after you just answered that question, like I want to say that like I'm 100% a true believer, right? Because number one, the way you explained that, right? So I had that response, right? Like I had that the hidden
Right.
message was the Times 03 January 2009, which I didn't say, and about the chancellor on the brink of the second bailout. Like I didn't say that to you, right? I just asked what messages could possibly be there,
Right.
and without hesitation, right? Like without hesitation, without pause, you answered that question. And I've told people before, like, so part of my profession, without like saying in specifics, because I know you're also curious about people here, you want to engage and have a conversation, right? It's not just like us grilling you, right? So I'll talk a little bit about myself, like not too much because this is about you.
Yeah. Right
But
on.
part of like what part of my work is I deal with like human psychology. I work with a lot of people, and certainly like even over the phone, like a detection of lying, a detection of just like human behavior is something that I'm pretty well seasoned in from a clinical approach. And even from the first spaces that we had, like I made this point that you gave all signs of being forthcoming, of being truthful, of having not paused or hesitated at any of the questions that we asked. And I just asked you a really, really specific question, that without like stumbling or anything, you answered like fully appropriately and correctly. So I guess this is my last question to you, right? Like knowing my position a little bit about me and everything, and this isn't even really a specific question. This is just really for like the community and the overall vibe of what we're doing here. What what is like, do you have any like concerns for yourself even, right? Like, I mean, if you're about to reveal yourself, as Bitcoin is implemented further in like our economy and our government, you have these plans of revealing yourself hopefully further. Do you have any concerns for like your safety and like also just like what that would mean for you personally, as being somebody who could like at this point, once again, I'm of the belief that you are who you say you are is so impactful with crypto and just with Bitcoin. Like what is your outlook on just like your
Yeah.
life and your position in the world?
It's a good question, and thanks for your discretion. I mean that's good to hear. I do have a basic concern, but if like the fact that if you don't engage like this, then you're just not really doing it 100%. And if you'll go look at the old messages and whatnot, I mean, you kind of have to do it like this. But I mean, I do have concerns. But what the next plans are: do more talking, go to conferences, which some people would say not to do. But I mean, who wouldn't want to have, like Vitalik and who is it, Sergey? Is that his name?
Right.
Sergey, the one who runs the on chain organization, the one they say is Satoshi. What is his name?
It could be. To be
So
honest with you,
again,
I don't know.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
Possibly, but
I
certainly Vitalik.
reference
Right.
You're talking about surging with
I reference like cross chain technology. Whoever runs that company, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name.
your
But yeah, what's
reference
next is
Bitcoin.
like I said, around the same time that the strategic Bitcoin was reserved, that's when I am going to sign a key. And the reason why is because it's going to happen soon. It only helps Bitcoin, and it helps Bitcoin become mainstream. And one of the biggest things about helping out and making more money for all of us, which is a good thing,
Right.
is the fact that it makes it more, it confirms it more in the eyes of traditional investors and the mainstream. So if that's anything like an answer,
Cool. Thank you. All right. So that's all the questions I have.
thank you.
Someone else can go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jetta. Anybody else from the space wants to come up, ask a question? Love for just kind of open the floor for total discussion now. So,
Do you mind if I get another question in, Brock, while we get another
oh, of
speaker up
course.
here?
No, man, go ahead. Yeah.
um, being who you claim to be, who you are, right? Have I don't know if you could talk about this necessarily, but if you can, have you ever been contacted by government or law enforcement or like
Well, I used to
ever?
work for I used to work for the government itself, but
Right,
I
right. I
mean,
know you were Army Ranger.
I've had emails and whatnot from the government. You don't know whether to believe, but there's been times when they've tried to, sometimes in a antagonistic way, which would make sense because Satoshi and Bitcoin was I want to call it a antagonistic force on currency, but it's usually been every now and then, but not a big, nothing huge or them trying to snatch me up or anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Thought I brought somebody up, but it looks like they went back down to listening. Uh, is there anything from your end, Brock, that you think we haven't
I
touched
saw
on?
a few comments about the Flickr information, and all I can say is that that date was when I logged back into Flickr and unprivated those photos. So those are the original captions, but apologies if it seemed like it wasn't. But Flickr is not meant to be a traditional like method of verification. I'm surprised those albums survived from '06, but that was just another way of kind of showing that I
You
was
said
working
you,
on it
you
back in the day.
unprivated the album or just those two photos?
Yeah,
Those two
because
photos, were the only ones that were private, and I had to move them from another album. So that might have been when I see someone use an API to
Well, I just
like
have a
show
quick question. Anyone
what's up.
that's kind of chiming in over the last 15 minutes, could you guys kind of give us a TLDR of what's going on? Just 2, 3 bullet points of why, the long time away, and then kind of jumping back in just now, kind of what's been going on, what the plans going forward. So I guess 4 bullet points.
There will be a recording of this. So I think like wasting time with like summarizing and everything, you could always just listen back to everything and like I think we should just keep the conversation flowing. You can always once again after this is done, just go back and listen to the whole thing. Like let's just let him speak, rather than like wasting his time with like summarizing things that he's already said, if that makes sense.
Not a problem.
All right, yeah, it's no worries. But yeah, the Flickr thing, that was when I logged back in and first was able to see if my album was still there and if I could make it public or not. So like I had logged into Flickr since 2006. So that might have been, I see someone use like an API or a backend thing to look at the photos, but those are the original captions, and you can look at the EXIF information, which is a photos information. If you go look at Flickr, the post online. So sorry for any confusion on that one.
Brock, can you talk? Here's another question I have. Can you talk about the assignment of 21 million like supply and like just like why that decision was made?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's an idea of like it's something called a fixed supply, like regular fiat currency that's not backed by a gold standard or backed by metals or backed by natural resources. They kind of like you can print endless money. The fact of having an actual cap on something makes it a more elusive not elusive, a more attractive asset. And that was one of the main things. Like when people were trying to make digital currency or digital gold or or hash cash back in the day, like that was one of the main talking points was to have a cap on it. That way, it would be more attractive to investors, and it would have what's called a fixed supply.
Understood, but so I kind of also meant like what inspired you just like for that number? Like it could have been 19 million, could have
Oh,
been 10
oh
million.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of them is if you look on like Smirnoff vodka, they have a 21 number 21, 21 million. I was 20 when I released Bitcoin. 21 is a legal drinking age. I'm from Louisiana, and Louisiana was the last state to um make 21 legal drinking age, and 21 is it was a lot of different influences, but it was just chosen just because it's not 25, it's not 22, it's not 20, it's not a huge number, it's a small number. I can go on, but it's just a cap. And if you think about it, I mean, it's going to take a long time for Bitcoin to mine all of those freaking Bitcoin and reach that limit, but it actually won't reach that specific limit. It'll be like 20,999,958, I think. It won't actually reach that limit, but it'll be close to it. But yeah, it's kind of like it makes it a more rare thing. It's a direct antecedent to like fiat currency, which is paper currency, which people are slowly seeing that is not the greatest thing in the world.
Thank you.
As we bring up some other people here, I mean, this is once again, I'm going back to a technical question. I just because I think it'd be incredible to hear from your mouth. Number one, but like, how do you even start coding something like Bitcoin? Like, I
You just
don't know
start,
anything about coding. I don't know, like, the
yeah.
littlest things that I've ever done is ran a couple Python scripts. Like, how do you even start,
You just start
coding
how
something
how you
like
start writing like a notepad document. Like you just start organizing your thoughts and like kind of like you make a website. Like you go like open bracket I or hello world. Like you just start doing it. Like coders and programmers think differently, but they use the same word processing documents as writers and authors. So it's just a process. I mean, you would take an idea and then process it into code and then work it and test it, compile it, debug it. Like I'm sure all of us have used Windows in the past, and you've had the like run DLL or debug options. Those are kind of stuff that coders and programmers they live by. Like coders and programmers, the most ones that I know, they live inside those little bitty code documents, and they live and breathe in that thing. So it's a different way of thinking.
Like, what does it look like? I mean, like, I don't mean to. I mean, I kind of do
Uh,
mean to price. Like, what is it? Like, how do you start? Like, I
if you
understand like
want to,
with like HTML, like when you open your brackets and you type in, here's my box or here's my I don't know what it's called, but you declare this is a variable, right? Like, I mean, is that how do you what do you start with Bitcoin?
if you want to get a good idea of what it's like, go on GitHub and look at any code you want and click on. They'll give you an option to see the code in Koa format or in raw format, which is kind of like HTML stripped down version. Go do that, or look at any basic HTML document online, and you'll see that it's top to bottom.
Is there a way to
S-
see like Bitcoin's code? Like, is
Yeah,
that
you can go to. It's on GitHub. Yeah,
All right, I got a question. So with the whole Bitcoin white paper, I don't know if this was asked, but there were so many different like writing styles in it, and so many different like verbiages from like some words would be used in traditional English, like UK writing, and some was like more Americanized. Did you have help writing this, or as I don't know if it was asked already or not, but it's something that's brought up a lot with the white paper.
no, I didn't have any help with it, but I often found that sometimes when I write, I have like different styles that come out when I'm writing. And you'll, as a good example, you can see this kind of writing style in the proof of identity document on page 10. When I go into kind of like a diatribe slash rant about the wheat penny, you'll see that writing style come out. And it's just because I read a lot of different books. I read a lot of different stuff online that are from different stuff. And plus, I lived in Germany my first 4 or 5 years of my life because I'm kind of an army brat. So, and plus, I'm from southern Louisiana, which has different languages itself. So, I guess it was just the way I was raised.
Okay, that's super interesting. So what did you draw a lot of inspiration from, like the Hashcast stuff and some of the early
Oh
iterations,
God,
or
yeah. Oh
yeah,
God, yeah. Like that stuff is super influential. Like that, those are the reason why they were referenced. But those old school people like that, they are a wealth of knowledge. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So how long were you work? I mean, if you could tell me or not, how long were you in the?
From 98, yeah, that's as far as I know. From 98, that's when I was first kind of thinking, like reading up. That's why if you go read the LoseNet stuff, half of it is financial people complaining about the economy. The other half is people freaking out about Y2K.
Mhm.
So wait, what was it? What was the question again?
Well, I was gonna say I was actually gonna ask, like, how long were you actually in the government and stuff? Because I know the government
Oh,
is
4 years, 4.5 years. Yeah,
okay.
that's my contract. Yeah, my contract from '06 to 2011. Yep.
Oh, okay. So you actually launched this while you were in the middle of your service.
Yes, which is not technically illegal, but one of the reasons why I had to use a pseudonym. But like I said, the financial crisis, I mean, someone to help out just made sense, but it might be wrong in an ethical way or whatnot, but I think it needed to happen.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's just. I mean, it's super. That's crazy that you did this all by yourself. You like I know you were talking to Hal um a lot and stuff. What kind of effect
Yeah,
did he have on
the way
the whole
how
situation?
How was very communicable. He had very good communication skills, but he was slowly dying from Lou Gehrig's disease, which is kind of sad. But that was the reason why it had a lot of different people I was communicating with at the time. But I'm sad to see him go. But how if you go look at Hal's early posts and whatnot, he's a big wealth of information for how Bitcoin came to be.
Word, honestly, yeah. Thanks for answering, and I'll try to think of
Yeah,
some more.
sure. ALS is a bad disease, man. It's real bad.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know for sure. Sad.
So I also have this question, like, because you always see these posts about how like Satoshi is just the richest person in the world or so or whatever, right? Like, have you like have you ever like profited from it or anything? Like, like is money just like not a big
I
part of your
think
life? Just even yeah, like even down to
I
the
think
financial aspect.
the total was like 100 something billion. It depends on what the price is of Bitcoin that day, but I find it, I don't think about it as terms of money. I just think of it as
Right,
like, because I'm attached to it from the beginning. It's a weird one. I'm kind of conflicted, but I don't know.
right, for sure.
What kind of
And
assurances that does the community have or the world have that you might not just decide to go gone, sell it all, or some
Well,
significant?
I'm gonna sign a key from one of the original wallets. That's what we've been talking about. We've been trying to figure out when to do it, and I want to do it whenever the this administration acquires Bitcoin for a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which could be any day now.
But so they must be peeing their pants that you might potentially sell.
No, well, they
What
don't. No,
like
I'm not going to
is there
sell.
any kind of
I'm
plan
not
you
going
have
to
set up,
sell.
or you know?
No, I mean that's the basic of it. I mean, I'm not in communication with this administration, but that's my personal decision, and that's what's going to happen. So
You essentially have the economy in your hands. If a significant portion is
no,
picked up by the U.S.
no,
government and
I can
governments all around,
understand how you think that way. No, I can understand, but that's I don't think of it that way.
look what DeepSeek did to the whole
Reaper,
market. But anyway,
Reaper. I think
I take
What's
your word for it.
what's ReapSeek?
The Chinese AI company that came out freaked out
Oh,
everybody
DeepSeek.
that OpenAI
Oh
and all the
yeah,
models here.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like
And the market
OpenAI,
just
so
crashed. Everybody
great.
panicked. Trump did his 50 billion or 500 billion for
Oh,
everything.
I
So
like the Trump coin. I like Trump's meme coin. I think it gives more. It's good for crypto. That's what I think.
if he keeps it serious, it'll lend credibility that you show up, the administration jumps in. I agree.
Thanks.
Brock, do you have a take on quantum computing and the safety of Bitcoin and private
I think
keys?
Google's Willow quantum computing is nice. I've been trying to learn quantum coding, but I think it has potential. It just takes so much freaking money and so much hardware. It's kind of I like quantum neural networking as a way of like figuring out stuff, but I think it's in its early
Do you think
heyday.
it's a threat to the blockchain and or those
No,
security systems that you have in place for the private keys and
it would still
addresses?
take there's writings out there that say even with the most advanced hash mechanism algorithm and quantum computer, it would take billions of years. So as of right now, no.
Gotcha. Hattie, what were you gonna say earlier? I heard you say my name.
Yeah, sorry. This is more. This is not really anything technical, but because we had mentioned that Flickr thing, I had forgotten that. I think it was last night or earlier. You had said something about his Instagram handle being changed numerous times. I don't know, Brock, if
Yeah,
you just
the Instagram
recently.
handle, not to cut you off, it was
Yeah,
changed when I was on the Appalachian Trail. I changed it. I was gonna do like a if you ever seen like that they have this account called People of New York, where they like feature people on like their Instagram like as a profiles. That's when I changed it.
never.
I was gonna do like a I was gonna like feature someone from the Appalachian Trail on my Instagram when I was hiking, but I changed it back to Brock Tibb. And then I changed it recently to founder.bitcoin, but I didn't like how that looked. It looked kind of like egocentric, so I changed it back to Brock Tibb. So that's why it shows changed my name. So it wasn't anything nefarious. It was just me trying to figure out how to show Instagram.
Gotcha. No, I'm not trying to grill. I was just asking. What
Oh
about
yeah, no,
the
I
X
think it.
handle?
I think it's important that they show how many times you changed it because it adds credibility to someone's account when they go to verify it. You know.
Right. Um, did your X handle? I know you've had your account
My
since '09,
my X
but
handle
when
has
did
not
they?
changed.
Yeah.
Has not changed since I think I got it. I haven't changed it. I think I added the X. I added the X when X was became X because I love what Elon's doing, but it
So
hasn't
you
changed.
changed it when it changed from Twitter to X, or
Yeah, I added the X. Correct. If I'm remembering
okay?
correctly. Yeah, I've had this forever. I just recently started using it.
So it was just real Satoshi, and then when the switch happened, you added the X.
Yeah, I had my tweets. I had my not tweets, my reposts. Like I had it like a private account, and then when I made it public, I just added an X. I think so.
Okay. And that, I mean, you don't have to answer this, but have you ever had any alt Twitter accounts or just
No,
the
this is
main
the
one?
only one. The only one. And the only alt email I have is Satoshi in dash alt at GMX. That's because the original email account was hacked like 5 different times. And I actually
Okay.
contacted GMX and they emailed me back. And I can show that too, but they're like, no, the account's down. That's why I had to create the alternative.
I only asked because in one of Reaper's threads earlier, someone named Psyop Duck, something like that. They had a screenshot connecting. There's no. I'm not saying this was you or anything, but it was a different account, different X handle. It was at Brock Thib, like your Instagram, and
No.
he has his screenshot, yeah, of someone named Josh Hedrick, who is from also from Lafayette, who you are mutuals with on your Instagram. They were tagging you on that old Instagram handle. I don't know if that even could just be coincidental. It could not have
It's that's
nothing to do with it.
now that
But
you say that, that's possible. I might have had a personal Twitter that I might have deleted when I was in college. But I do know Josh Hedrick. He is a friend of mine. So I might have had one, a personal one that
yeah,
I
I
crashed
spoke to him. He
Satoshi.
says he knows you,
You spoke to
but
Josh?
I did actually. It's a bit
He's a
schizo,
cool
but
guy, right?
we were doing this research.
What did he
Yeah.
say? I haven't talked to him in a long time. What did he say?
He said exactly that you haven't talked. He hasn't talked to you in a long time. Had no
Yeah,
idea if you were the
I
creator
went
of
to
Bitcoin.
elementary school. No, he's probably shocked like you. I went to elementary. I grew up with Josh, but
I figured.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that old Twitter was you.
I think now that you mention it, I think I did have one, a personal one for like a month or so, and then I deleted it because I did back at that time it was Twitter, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it.
Yeah, it was
So yeah,
2013 according to the
2013.
screenshots, and
Yeah, I was still in college.
yeah.
2009 as well.
Yeah.
Do you have that up, Reaper? The
Yeah, if you go search at Brock Fib, I mean, you can see all the interactions and
Yeah.
all the tags. Yeah. So you didn't. So I mean, like, just on a personal level, you never told anyone in your personal life that you
No.
were Satoshi Nakamoto.
No.
How do you
I mean,
keep
I've
that
told. I
like
mean,
under like?
I told my girlfriend, and she's been having to. She's witnessed the entire thing, but I haven't told. I'm slowly starting to tell friends, but no, I haven't told anyone about it because they probably wouldn't believe it. But anyone who knows me personally, like my friend Josh, he probably would say, yeah, he's into computers and it's possible, but they'd probably be shocked just like you.
I got a question. So when did you depart on the Appalachian Trail?
December 26th, 2015, and I completed it May 31st, 2016 in Maine for 14 states. It's beautiful. I
Okay.
recommend going.
So you were around while things were going on, because your last post was um, I'm
May
not sure
8th,
the exact
2018
May 8th, 2018.
on Instagram.
No, on Bitcoin Talk.
Oh yeah, 2010, I think 2011 is my last post on there.
Yeah. So that was I'm trying to think because the one of the last kind of things you put into to play was in terms of like code and stuff was the overflow incident. I'm sure you remember that.
Is this related to the DDoS stuff or not? One of the last things that I wrote.
The value overflow incident. It was
I
one
have
of
to
the
look at it.
big.
It was a long time ago. I have to look at it to be honest with you. Sounds like.
Well, the value overflow incident was when billions and billions and billions of Bitcoin were minted out of thin air. It was the first attack on a blockchain ever.
Was this when
Pretty.
was this when blockchain Bitcoin forked into BCH, or was this something else?
Mm, no, man. That this was here. I'm actually I started the Blockchain Historical Society, so I recently just did a timeline and stuff. This was August 15th, 2010. Bitcoin exploit generates 184 billion bitcoins.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I got you. What about that?
Like what
For
was
three
your
different addresses? Uh,
um? It was one main attacker, and he took up all the Bitcoin. Um, so I mean that was
yeah, a new
you had
version
you
was
you had
published
to
pretty
do.
quickly. Sorry, you're saying?
Yeah, it was a roll. You did a rollback, I think it was, and then yeah, it was still the same chain. So I was just like, that was obviously if you
Yeah,
were not around, if you would have, departed on the Appalachian Trail, crypto would have probably ceased to exist.
yeah.
So
Fortunately, the longest version of the chain doesn't include that. But fortunately, that it was fixed quickly. But if I hadn't been there, I guess yeah, sure. But the if you'll see the time that I went on the Appalachian Trail was around the time of the second halving. So in the back of my mind, something must have been like, get away, try and think about stuff.
So what's next, dude? I mean, you spoke about Denver.
Conferences.
Yeah.
I'm going to different conferences. Before that, I'm going to start the new R&D venture capital company, which is going to employ a lot of people. I'm going to be doing more talks. I'm going to be doing more interviews. I'm kind of like fielding emails as they come in, and I'm finally back on Twitter, which I love X, but I'm kind of learning how to use Twitter and not trying to not saying I'm not saying shit posting is bad. I think they're hilarious, but I'm trying to make sure the Satoshi brand is not and crypto is not you know hurt in the process. But I'm taking it as it comes.
I got a question.
What's up?
First of all, crazy if you are who you say you are to be here talking. It's awesome. It's a privilege. And definitely with what you did in the army, regardless, like that's amazing. Like much respect. I was over in Germany as well too. It's pretty cool. But my question is, when it comes down to the time for you to do that actual signing with the whole Bitcoin strategic reserve, would you be willing to like do that on a Spaces live with us and just give us a heads up? Be like, "Yo,
Yeah, that's what.
guys,
Yeah,
I'm about
why
to do
not?
it. Ready?
Yeah, why not?
Click." And then that's it. And then that's really the only definitive way to
Yeah,
know.
sure,
And then, that'd be
absolutely.
badass. And like, so
Yeah, why not?
cool, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, Fudd. Sorry, guys. I have to go walk my dog. I gotta go walk my dog. He gets very anxious if I don't walk him at the same time every day. So not to cut it short, but thanks you guys for taking the time. I appreciate it. There's gonna be a lot more of this happening, but I appreciate you guys asking questions, and feel free to message me and ask me any question you want. Look forward to it.
Great.
Thank
All right.
you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
Thank you for
time.
hopping
All
on,
right,
man.
y'all. Thank y'all. Later.
Later.
All right, there you have it. Brock Thibodeaux, Satoshi
What do you think?
Nakamoto. Thoughts? Anybody? Panel?
I mean, bro.
I'm kind of curious to know your take on it, Purple.
I mean, once again, I think the like for me at least, like I kind of was transparent with everybody. I was transparent with you guys, transparent with him, like transparent about my stance on it. That question that I asked him was super specific. Like once again, I asked ChatGPT how like what's the only like give me some questions that only Satoshi Nakamoto would know, right? Like if I was speaking to him, that was my prompt, like only questions that he would know. Yeah. And that was one of the questions. It asked about asked. I'll read it. It said hidden messages and intentions. That was like section 4, and it said besides the Times '03 January 2009 Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. That was in quotes, right? So that's the hidden message. Were there any other hidden messages you considered embedding in the Genesis block? Meaning that would be the question I would ask him, right? So I purposefully left that out, and I asked him instead of like giving him one of the hidden messages and asking if there were any other hidden ones, right? Because that would obviously give him the out of being like, no, there were no other hidden messages, right? I just asked him what was the first hidden message. Now, I have to go and look back at the white paper, and I'm pretty sure that like or the POI document. I don't know if that's in there like or not. Like I would have to like scour it like every single like line by line. I don't remember.
I think it is.
All right, even
I
if
think it is.
even yeah,
Yeah.
even if it is like, dude, once again, from the way how quickly he answered everyone's questions, they're okay. Like I'll give once again, I'll give leeway to at least like some of the putters, right? Like you could say like, okay, like when we asked him that specific question, he said it was too difficult, right? Like people will say that. They'll say, okay, he said it was just too difficult. He didn't give a comp sci answer to that shit. But let's be real. I mean, I said that transparently as well. That like even if he was like, oh yeah, block 3 to block 4 and then 2 4 5, he could have fucking said anything that sounded comp sci-ish, and it could have been total fucking blarp, right? And he didn't do that. So to be honest with you, it's kind of for me a better sign that he didn't try to give some crazy technical answer that sounded smart, and he kept it simple and was just like, listen, bro, most of you guys are fucking retards. You probably don't know code like that, and I'll just keep it as simple as like it was like way safer for the project to like use that code. And then there were other questions that he answered really specifically that kind of did edge on the side of being like a really difficult comp sci answer. I think you couple that with the fact that he's now at this point joined 2 spaces, carried himself the same way in both spaces. That's definitely even like above like him providing information. I really just wanted to see like how much he was sweating, right? Like were there gaps in between his answers? Did it sound like he was like, give me one, like, all right, how many times have we been in something where someone was like, give me 1 second, right? And then like they come back and have an answer. Like he didn't do that at any point, bros. So to me, it's like at this point, we have so much information that points to him. We have so many digital footprints that point to him. We have a bevy of knowledge in this white paper, right? That's produced by him. At this point, it's not even about the fucking meme, bro. He doesn't even like he asked kind of like what's DeepSeek and what's Chat GPT, like you know what I mean? Like this guy is plugged in, but he's clearly not somebody who's trying to like profiteer off of something right now. Like you know what I mean? Like he didn't come across that way at all. Um, and so to me, it's just like we literally were a part of history today, dude. Like, and once again, we're not like who else is it? And that's another question too. Like, if it isn't him, then who the fuck else is out there putting out information? Who the fuck else is out there answering questions? Like, who the fuck else is out there like spending time with any community, for that matter, and telling their story? So to me, I mean, I'll say this, and I'm not scared to say this. And people who have like been speaking to me for the past few days have heard this from me. Like, even before he joined the space, the first space, I think it's him. And that's also why, Fud, I love you. You know I love you, my guy. Like, you know you're my you're my main dude. But like, that's why I was like, I want to come across at least like my tone with him as being more so. Of course, I'm gonna ask him hard questions, but like, I don't want him to feel like I'm just interrogating him to the point where it's like I don't believe you, right? Because then, to be honest, that would just make him defensive and less willing to talk. Where we could possibly, if he was lying, catch him in a lie, right? Sometimes people, when they feel super comfortable, that's when they'll just start talking their ass off, and you'll be like, okay, that's bullshit, right? Whereas a defensive person won't open their mouth at all, so you won't be able to catch anything. So that's why my angle was like, all right, let me see, like, thank him for his time, make him feel comfortable, ask him some questions, a difficult one, a lifestyle question, just like different aspects of what he thinks about Bitcoin. And by all accounts of my brain, once again, he handled himself smoothly. He gave great information. Um, he continues to reiterate every single aspect of the white paper. Also, the bros and I, including Fudd, like a bunch of us are in here. Like, it was only 12 of us, spent 4 hours last night, which is recorded, dissecting the white paper, looking. We honestly were digging and looking for a reason to not believe him. We couldn't find anyone. And then what does he do? He comes back tonight and holds his ground and provides even like additional details and updates the white paper today. So it really is just like, bros, like like, of course, like it's real, but it's like, bro, we may just be like, and I'm not even gonna say may, right? Because my stance is, I think we're a part of the beginning of like a true like historic and pivotal moment in crypto history. So that's my take.
My 2 cents is that I agree with you. There's certain components of it where he was super comfortable. He was super ready to answer questions. I didn't necessarily like that he didn't want to try to talk to us in layman terms a little bit more in detail. I do understand that position, but at the same time, I was on that call last night too, man. I became a believer, like from on the fence to okay, shit, we might be onto something. But as time went on, I'm also like, hold on a second, bro. Like before we start shilling this coin, we need to think about the potential ramifications it could have if it is or isn't true. Like if we organize all these people to push this coin all over crypto Twitter, and it turns out to be a LARP, you got a bunch of people looking fucking foolish. One, and then two, we're talking about fucking Bitcoin here, bro. We're not talking about a fucking meme. We're talking about this guy is talking about who controls a significant portion of Bitcoin that could potentially be dumped on the global market, while at the same time the U.S. government is talking about standing up a strategic Bitcoin reserve and implementing crypto regulations. I'm on the fence now, considering that you mean to tell me the government doesn't know what the fuck is going on? They're not prepared for this guy to come out and talk about it. And I apologize if this is coming across as FUD or excessively aggressive, but at the same time, like, bro, we're grown ass men. We're talking about potentially a guy who's got hundreds of billions of dollars popping up out of nowhere talking about I'm this guy and having all this like flowery stuff on the sidelines that's definitely convincing, and there's definitely some shit that has me on the fence of like what the fuck should I believe. So I'm with you still there, but I also want you to have some level of skepticism because we are talking about something that is technically significant
Okay,
for us,
two
for
things.
the crypto
Uh,
world and the global markets.
for sure. And just to directly respond to that, right? Two things,
Yeah.
right? I can fully believe what everything he said, and also understand like they're mutually exclusive, right? So me believing him and believing his story has nothing to do with how impactful I think. Of course, I understand the significance of what we're talking about here, right? But I also, once again, so I can believe him and at the same time be like, wow, I believe his story, and what we're talking about is potentially like has a global impact, right? It's like, it's not like if you don't believe him, then there's no global. They're once again, they're mutually exclusive things. They have, one has nothing to do with the other. How right he is, even, and that's another thing too. Like, bro, people, let's not forget, fucking like, let's take him out of the situation. Ansem, who's possibly the biggest person in this space, right? The biggest person in this space, in the Solana space. I'll never forget the whole Nero like thing when he supported like one over the other and all that bullshit, right? People lost money, all that stuff, right? Like that, so it's not unlike it's not it just to say like that shit happens, right? Like that shit can 100% happen, and it's happened on a far bigger like nobody here is Ansem, right? And that's happened on such a massive scale, right? Where people lost millions, bro. Like people lost several hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? We have fucking look at SBF, bro. Like he's somebody who like lost people's like lives, bro. Like people committed suicide after the shit he did, right? So like we've dealt with like people and major players in this space like doing something or saying something or supporting something that had impacts. That's just like the price of the fucking game, bro. Like that's just like literally what happens when you speak about things that are really valuable. But once again, like that has nothing to do with like how true he is or not. And to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, if there was somebody who had that power in their hands, it, if anyone, I would kind of trust the guy that we were just fucking speaking to, bro, who's kind of based, who's willing to pull up, answer some questions, who doesn't seem too full of himself, who doesn't seem aggressive at all, who doesn't seem too passive either, who's pretty transparent, who's presenting himself to the community. We have two times where he's literally said like I'll sign the keys. He even just agreed to sign the keys on the spaces with us, right? Like, so he's speaking in events, bro. The last spaces we had, he said, "Listen, I have to leave because I have to go to work right now. Like, I have to do some things. Like, I'm working on things, right?" It wasn't like, "Look at me, I'm this big, powerful dude, and I can do all this shit." Also, it through his own words, he's waiting for the strategic reserve, right? So that's also showing somebody who's kind of like smart and competent and has a specific timing for when they want to do something, and also like that was also heavily debated. Why is it that he's coming out now? Like why has he chosen this moment? And I kind of speculated the same reason that he gave, that it's the perfect moment for him to come out. Crypto, even 2 years ago, you had people calling crypto a complete scam, right? Now we're at the point of mass
Mm.
adoption. We're at the point where it's being accepted on a global scale, right? We have Nakib Bukele, right? Like who's saying like, listen, for El Salvador, like this, there a whole country has embraced Bitcoin, right? There have been so many
Mm.
things leading up to this moment where it would make sense that he like now would be the time. Now, of course, like there's always going to be the thing of why would he speak to us? Right? Like, why would he speak to us? But honestly, this shit is hilarious, bro. Like, let's also like be lighthearted about it. Like, we've seen so many big people come, like the founder of Vine, right? Like, why would the founder of Vine all of a sudden start talking about Vine again after it's been dead for fucking years, right? Because why? A meme coin was launched, it piqued his interest, and he was like, okay, like this is something pretty cool. And to be completely honest, like somebody who started Bitcoin, to see the way that it's developed and to see the way it's spread to like it's inspired other ecosystems and like how those ecosystems have developed, Solana in particular, right? It would make it's just an intriguing thing. Like, why are all of us like he's a human being at the end of the day, bro? He's not a robot, right? Like, why are all of us in this space right now? Because something piqued our interest and we thought it was cool. And I think we should give him that same benefit of the doubt as well. And I don't think that we should treat him as a person who's like God or anything like that. He's just a fucking nerd, just like all of us, bro, probably, who like coded some crazy shit, disappeared for a while, found out that like people are just now like really embracing him in a different way, right? To the point where that like a meme was created. And it's like, all right, bro, fuck it, dude. Like, let's roll. Let's roll. He's about, and that, here's another thing, right? We're also not speaking to a ghost, dude. Like he said multiple times at this point that he's going to an event in Denver, right? He's gonna be there. He's gonna like he's
I'm aligned to you, man. It's kind of
yeah.
crazy because it's like it's still just enough lure to keep me fucking here, and I'm holding my bag. I'm on it. I'm on the team. We're fucking here. We're about to figure this shit out. Um, yeah, man. It's been fucking exciting. It's just a weird fucking time because it's like, bro, what the fuck is going on? You're coming out
What the
now.
fuck?
All this
Yeah.
other shit, and I just want us to exercise some caution because we have people with like someone like Fudd, bro. We have people tagging big time names in the crypto space. We don't want this kind of to also make us look like idiots to some
Okay,
degree.
listen. Let's
I'm,
be
I'm down
real.
to jump. I'm down to jump on with it and like have
Bro.
fun and make it happen.
A
But let's be
hundred, a
real too.
hundred percent. But like, okay, let's be completely honest, dude. Fudd saying, okay, even Fudd, right? Like, even myself, everybody who's here, right, is equal, right? Like, let's just say, though, what's the worst thing that literally happens for all of us, right? Like, I don't know how big anyone is here and their credibility and all that shit, but like, bro, the assumption, right? The prerequisite to everything is that like memes are fucking bullshit anyway, right? Like, let's be real about it, right? Like, some are attached to like some tech or some shit like that or whatever, right? But like, the prerequisite for all memes is that inevitably, bro, like, it's all fucking fugazi. How many people reference Solana as the best casino of all time, right? So it's
It
like,
all goes to zero. Yeah.
right,
I,
exactly. So what the worst that could happen, you're like on the massive scale, is that you're wrong. And once again, that's why I brought up Ansem, right? Because Ansem did that, bro. He literally did that. He embraced something that was bullshit. He was wrong, and he has the biggest following. He has 10 times the following of all of us combined, and he's still fucking tweeting to this day and still fucking living his life, bro. So
okay, well, talking
Ansem,
about the coin, like a meme coin is a little bit different than trying to determine the validity of whether or not someone is who they're claiming to be,
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
yeah, I'm
that's,
with
well,
that.
I think that's a little bit more serious than just meme coins going to zero. Like, and it's a little bit more like I try, all this is for shits and gigs. It's crypto Twitter. It's all anon burner shit. But you try to, maintain yourself and try to be of value. And that's what
Of
was the whole
course.
point of why I came out here in the first place, was because I literally wanted to give it a fair shot and a fair shake to look at. Because I did find it interesting. I found, it's compelling in a sense. But I don't know, man. Like, I think there's a lot of convenient things that are being not talked about, and instead we're just talking about a lot of circumstantial stuff. And it's like it all hinges really on him signing this a message, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to sign it when the Bitcoin reserve gets announced." And I don't love that answer because it's tied to an undefined date, right? And so like
Right, but he seemed pretty confident.
he's always just you then like the answer, or like the demand for him, like he's always just gonna be saying, "Well, I'm waiting for the Bitcoin reserve. I'm all waiting for the
Yeah.
Bitcoin reserve. I'm waiting." It's like, okay, that's like a convenient
Like,
answer again. And then he didn't want to talk about cryptography at all. He was like, "No, I don't want to talk about that. It's boring." I was like, "Come on, man! Like, I understand that it is boring and maybe a little technical, but like, I'm not asking you that question so that you can explain to me and I can become educated in cryptography. I'm asking you that question because I want you to demonstrate that you possess this level of expertise, and it's nothing to you. And for me to get the answer, "Oh no, it's boring," that's a chiller question, and like, sure, that's one excuse, but again, it's an excuse, and it's like, okay, all I'm really left with now is
But
this
but the but
document.
then
And
but then the
if
counter,
it
bro, Fud, totally hear you. But the a quick counter to that would be, one, he's not a dancing monkey, right? He's not a dancing monkey. So,
oh, come on,
and
it's
then
not.
and
I'm not asking. I'm
no,
not
no,
telling
for
you to
sure.
dance. I'm telling you.
No,
You're coming out here
of
and making
course,
the claim that you're Satoshi Nakamoto, and I ask you,
of
"Hey,
course.
kind of give
But
me
then
a
but
brief
then
rundown on
but then but
cryptography," and you're
then
like, "Oh, don't tell me what to do." Like, come on, man. Like, it's not.
right,
It's
right,
not. I'm
right.
not demanding a lot.
But then the second thing is then, of course, like, in contrast with the previous point that was made, how contradictory is that, right? Like, DJ just made the point that we're talking about something that has such serious gravity here, right? And how important it is. So given that, given the importance and the scale, the global financial scale of what we're talking about, how much sense would it make for him to then sign a key, bro, just for a
Oh, well,
couple
I didn't
dudes
ask
on
him that.
Spaces,
I
bro?
didn't
No,
ask
I
him to
know, but I'm
sign the
just saying,
key.
but you're saying that that's, once again, that's at this point, that's the only thing that could prove it to you, despite the fact that he's been in two spaces with us. But then I'm just contrasting that with the fact that if we're talking about something so important, it would seem absolutely ridiculous for him to then use his key, bro, to just demonstrate to what,
I
35
think
people on the Spaces.
Exactly, exactly. He wouldn't feel the same sense of urgency that we feel because if it's true and he knows it to be true,
Right.
then he doesn't have that urgency that we have
Right.
because we're Solana degen dudes like biting our
Of
fingernails
course.
over this,
yeah,
you
I
know.
think we
There's
need
no
to
rush to.
we need to think outside the box on this one. We're so fixated on this key being the make or break. So let's do our research and figure out what other question we can find to validate his entity,
Well, I'd
right?
like to see logs.
There's
I'd like
got
to
to
see
be another fucking
documents.
way. There's
Like,
got to
there's
be
got to
another
be
way.
files. Like,
There's
I would
got to
think
be
that there's
another
got to
way.
be.
And
There's
it's
got. I
not going
would
to be
like to
some
see
stupid
files.
question. It's got to be definite proof. But I myself am gonna find something that no matter what, it's gonna have to tie him to it. And it doesn't even have to be a fucking signature. It really fucking doesn't. There's got to be a way, dude. We're thinking
I mean,
outside the
not
box.
initially. I think at the end, though, if you go, if the situation is Donald Trump announces Bitcoin strategic reserve, and he's going to sign it. Like, it's going to come to that point one way or another.
Yeah,
It's
correct.
just, for us to, kind of talk about it or continue talking about it on the way to that day, you know, I would want to see other supporting documents and evidence in the form of,
Yeah,
there's got to be some type of
absolutely.
files, like C# files, like when you're coding shit, when you save it. Like, I want to see all those file states. There's got to be folders full of like test
For
scripts
sure.
and
The
whatever
question is,
save
does he have?
states.
The question is, does he still have it?
I know, and I'm tempted to be afraid of saying like that answer is going to be, oh no, it's on the hard drive. I don't have the hard drive anymore. It's like,
It's and
okay,
and
well,
that's a completely fair answer. Think about how long ago that was. He's probably done a shit
I
ton of
get it, but then
traveling.
I'm just
Like,
kind of like,
dude, I don't even have my laptop from fucking 6 years ago. I can't even tell you where the fuck it is, type shit. You know what I mean?
But I think, and that's another thing. Like everybody's so right. Like at a certain point, it really comes down to, dude. Like you have to like. It's almost like kind of binary at this point, right? Because it's
yeah.
like either you're like you're in or you're out, bro. Like he's been here twice. He just gave like the
But that
main
doesn't mean
sources.
anything. Like, bro, like just because somebody comes on space and says, "Hey, I'm a nice guy, and let me talk to you for 30 minutes," like that doesn't mean anything at all. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything.
that's
If
nothing
he,
Okay,
ground. It's nothing groundbreaking. I agree with you in
it's
that.
nothing.
But
It's nothing
he's
groundbreaking.
yeah,
it's
he's
not. I mean,
definitely he's been consistent. That's for sure. We'll give him that. But
I don't know. Like, you're
we're
not
still
considering the fact that he's just crazy. Like, I mean, people on the internet and people lie,
yeah,
and like he lied
yeah,
about his Twitter account. I mean, he lied about like Brock Thib. He said, "Oh, I might have had one for a month." No, he had it for 4 years. It's 2000. Like,
Yeah.
just from the shit that you can see on Twitter, you can see all the
Yep.
replies. It literally goes back to 2009. I'm not entirely convinced that the account that he has now is not just the same account, and we can't trick it all the way back. I just, I could go and figure out how to do that, but the replies and the tweets are there that says Brock Thib in 2009, and he's like, "Oh no, this is my only account. I've never changed
With
it."
his mutuals and everything.
Yeah, with like the same mutuals from Instagram. Like, we're all very quick to just, I want to be respectful of him too as a person, and not, just immediately straight up insinuate that he's lying, but that is an option that you have to consider. And, we talked to somebody else that was on his Instagram account, and the testimony from this person was that he was lying all the time while he was on the trail. Like, you never known someone that just like exaggerates and bullshits and like, makes shit up. Like, people are like that.
Yeah, yeah, I do know people like that. And once again, they don't carry themselves the way he carried himself across like an hour and a half of interrogation from people who want to know the truth. Like that's complete like that's just what it is. If he was lying, or like
I don't
let's
know.
just say,
Psychopaths are really good at being psychopaths.
Yeah, man. Like, the best
bro,
liars are good liars for a reason, right? Like,
bro,
Yeah, a
shit.
true pathological person will convince
Bro,
themselves
right.
of that.
Fun, you're a psychopath, bro. Like, shit out, you're a savage, bro. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, dude, and also let's be completely real. Like, if he, like, and I'm not, like, I will not phrase my shit like that anymore, dude. Him being Satoshi, not if he is. Him being fucking Satoshi, bro, makes him automatically a certified psychopath and weirdo, bro. Like to be able to code something that goes on to be like one of the most important like inventions of financial history,
Okay,
like
let's ask ourselves who the fuck thinks about starting coding Bitcoin at 10 years old? You got to ask yourself that
Well,
seriously.
me,
you would
I'm not
have
gonna
You
you
lie,
can
I
you
use
would
a
know a
all
couple
computer.
people,
you would
bro,
all you would
that like
also
that.
have to ask yourself like what age were you when he was 10 years old, because times were different back then.
Yeah,
Who gives a
I wanted
fuck?
to
I
ask
mean,
like
I'm not saying it's
Like, child
impossible,
what his
but
genius.
like,
parents did. Like,
That's a
Did
How
you
good
old
one.
did,
is he?
did you guys hear him talk about coding on MySpace and making your page in HTML code and shit like
yeah,
that?
but that was basic shit. You
I
had
know, but
MySpace was
that's what he
coding,
said got him started into all this shit.
but like, how do you
I mean,
think
I'll
of
believe it.
that
I
kind
hacked
of
the
problem?
guy who jailbroke the iPhone, GeoHot. When he first started, I was in middle school, and it was not even like hacking, but it was just using intelligence kind of. He went on CNN and he was presenting the whole how jailbreak the iPhone. It's the first one that was done. He did it with like the piezoelectric effect or whatnot. And I looked at the blog that they listed on the bottom of the screen. I just went, and I bought geohotblog.com. And like, if you're in those circles, if you're following on, like stuff like that scales. So I'll believe that. But I don't know, how old was he when this was done, and how old is he now?
He's 35 now.
I'd buy it. I'm 39.
Yeah, I'm his age, so
I mean,
I'm
I
not.
haven't done Bitcoin,
I
but
don't
playing
think.
with computers and learning
I
shit like
think the
that was fun to me back in those days. Like
I think the child thing is, the child thing is not hard to believe. Like, how old was Vitalik when he did,
I'm
Ethereum?
sure fucking like 6, dude.
No, I don't.
That
well,
dude's a
I think he was
brain,
like
bro.
16 or 17. I think he was young. He was a young guy as well. So like the whole child thing. And he didn't start writing it until 2007. So at that point, he would have been what, 19, something like that, 18, 19.
Yeah,
I
in the
mean,
documents it
he.
says in '98 the idea of him creating Bitcoin was basically the moment where he started thinking about the creation of it.
But
So
I think I don't know about like if it was that distilled or crystallized at that moment. But what he says in 1998 is that like there was all this shit going on that like at least pushed him in the direction of thinking about currency and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was like influenced to be online with all these other things like the posts on LooseNet.
yep.
He talks about the name for Pokemon being related to
Yeah,
Ashes or the
yeah.
creator of Pokemon.
And Pokemon was '95. So I
Yeah,
mean,
oh,
so
and here's another one. I'll buy it. Same year, 98. My dad was forced me, like all the kids were going out to play. He's like, dude, no. In the summer, you sit down. You're gonna be by the computer from 9 to 5. You're watching the stock market. He gave me 2 computer screens. He's like, put as many indicators on there so you can figure out what the hell is on one screen. On the other screen, you've got all the charts you want and charts. And dude, by the end of that year, so he gave me his second mortgage, like 25K to trade with. By the end of the year, I had not only coded up bots to do this, but there was a period at the peak where I did 300 trades a day with flipping 25K at a time. And I didn't lose him his money. I didn't make him like a lot, but I can kind of see it because like I had similar milestones. Like I'm a doctor now, like so I've done decent things, and so it kind of pans out that somebody can do this. But the market is going to lose their shit when somebody who's
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
wishy washy like this. If the story's not like
But you
cheer
also
on,
have to think about like how
oh,
the fuck do you do that? Do you reach out to the government? Is that the responsible thing to do? Like how do you go about this? Is there even a
The
fucking right way to
government
do?
apparently knows who he is.
one of us will blow this up on Twitter or social media,
Is
and
there
then
even a right way to
everybody
do
else will.
this? Like seriously, like I think any way you fucking release this, it's like talking about UFOs and aliens and shit. Like it's gonna be fucked up no matter how you present it. Period.
How'd that pan
It
out?
could have something to do with his new plan from one of those new white papers he released with that whole block ocean thing and like the future whatever project he's working on now. That could be the play. Like obviously powerful people would reach out to him and hook up with them, and then maybe he works with them to do whatever he's going to do going forward.
For sure. I think
Did anyone have the AI do a writing comparison between the last paper and this
no,
one?
that's a good thing to look up too because his writing style. I don't know if you guys watched the documentary. All they seem to emphasize that he has like a European type of way of talking and double spaces, and there's a bunch of analysis on how he actually writes. So like that would be a
Mhm.
good thing to validate as well.
So just to confirm, what age did he say he released it at?
16, no?
I'll buy it. I can buy
Well,
that.
He did say he was an army brat and he
he did it
spent
there.
some
That
time
yeah,
in
that's what he said he did.
Germany, so maybe that has something to do with the education style.
Yeah, I want to know
Fuck me,
I
I
mean,
would
like
went
be
he
to
would have
weird.
been
school
Hey,
right when
21.
it
hey,
came
you
He
know
would
out.
have
what we
been like,
should? Hey, you know what we should have asked is what part of the fucking military was he in? Was he in fucking computers? Like, there's all kinds of fucking
It
aspects
says
of the
it in
military, right?
the
yeah, it
proof of.
says it in the thing. I think it was in the MDOS or something like that. It was
Okay.
He was in fuck. He was
Hmm.
in he had something to do with computers in the military,
Yeah, that makes
basically.
sense.
As the details come out, yeah, I think the best way. So somebody here who has some like social media status, podcast, interview him, or we line them up with some big
But
boys
like,
and they'll
isn't it
eat it
just
up.
going to come down to the same question? Like, I mean, maybe there's better questions and technical stuff there, but like, I even tried to ask about that, and he's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's why I was
I
trying to say
mean,
we need to come up with something definitive that actually represents his identity rather than just his keys. And yeah, a lot of people are gonna be based upon, oh no, it's the
mhm.
keys are fucking nothing, but there's got to be another way
Yeah,
to
I
validate
agree. Like,
this.
we need to spend some time thinking about what questions and what mental picture can we start drawing with those questions that would lend it to
You
critical.
guys talked about the email address on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Here's another thing too. It's worth just thinking like because we can't just bring him on spaces to like bully him. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be like a like at a certain point.
Yeah, we can. He's been gone for like 15 years and he
Yeah,
owns
for
like the
sure.
most expensive asset.
Yeah. But once again, like, it's not like yeah,
Like, fuck off, man. Like, you're gonna get grilled because we know the CIA and the government's gonna actually do it 10 times worse.
bro. Yeah, okay,
True. You want it
yeah. They're gonna.
waterboarding or not?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's probably
Yeah,
got a
let's go
hood
to
on his head
G-Bag.
already
bro.
and he's shoveled off.
Listen. I understand that you rent out Guantanamo Bay to tenants, bro, but it's like, dude, chill out, bro. Like right now, it's also just about building the fucking relationship, keeping it alive, and having it like an intention. So I mean, like once again, I think we need to just like develop questions, right? Maybe because that's another thing I'm trying to say is like we only have but so many shots at this. Like we're honestly fucking lucky to have had spoken to someone who you guys believe is claiming, and I believe who is Satoshi, right? And like at that point, like his time is probably going to be limited, bro. So it's like I mean, once, and that's another thing also think is this is being recorded right now, right? So it's like maybe like it being released at some point. Like we definitely have the other recording of our spaces from last night where we went through all the white paper and gathered our own opinions, our own evidence, right? Dissected it. We have this recording today now, which we didn't have the first time when he joined, of him actually speaking to us for what, an hour and some change and talking about the dynamics. So it's like the next time we have one of these, it should really be like with a purpose is what I'm saying, right? Like, because he's done two interrogations, dude. And like, honestly, at this point, I really kind of feel like unless there are new questions, then we shouldn't have him on for the other spaces, right? Like, I
I
really,
agree.
Well, he's had a bunch of inner circle ones like this. Him and his buddies, like, or whoever's close to him, got this stab at it first. So he's already had some time to kind of figure out the narrative, what it is, whether it's fake or not. Like the more times you do it, you're going to get better at telling the story, more consistent, maybe the truth and whatnot.
Let
What
me
I think maybe,
let me ask you
yeah,
guys this. What are the fundamentals of a meme coin?
Hype.
the same thing as Bitcoin.
No, like what makes
Nothing. It's
what
based
makes a
on
meme what makes a
popular
meme
vote.
coin in your guys' eyes?
I mean,
Speculation.
it's literally just the
Or
meme. It's the idea.
speculation.
The same thing why
Attention.
Santa Claus
It's
exists
something
because enough people
that
believe
makes
in
you
it.
laugh. It's clever. Um and I think good or bad, no matter what fucking happens in the situation, if it's true, it's gonna be fucking massive, right? Fucking massive. If it's not, and for some reason this guy gets fucking broadcasted on the news and fucking exposed, he's gonna be the biggest fucking meme ever. So I think this is a win-win, no matter where the fuck we're looking
Yes.
at
Yeah.
in this fucking token, dude.
I agree. I
Let's
agree.
do it.
It's a
But
negative
not
bet.
if not if
But let's be
Fud
honest,
just
guys.
fucks the shit out of him every time he pulls up and is like, "Yo, you're a dickhead and a liar, bro." Like, you know what I mean? It's like
damn, you
that's
feel like
not
we
gonna.
treated him like that? I
No,
don't
I
feel
I
like
think
we
don't
we.
feel.
treated him like
Listen,
that.
I don't feel like you guys treated him like that. But honestly, at a certain point, once again, it's also like, let's be real. We have two interests here, right? We're all involved in this Brock meme, right? Like, or probably involved in some extent in this Brock meme, right? And we also,
Oh, I'd love more info.
it just so happens that the meme is attached to someone who, once again, is I believe is Satoshi. You guys say he's claiming to be Satoshi, right? So we're handling two different things here at the same time, right? We're handling like we're kind of handling the dynamics of this coin, right? And all of our self-interest in number one, like having supply, wanting it to go up, let's be real, right? And also at the same time trying to find out the truth, right? So I don't that's another thing too. I don't want you guys to think that I believe this because of this fucking meme. Bro, I don't need the money from this meme, whether it goes up, whether it goes down. Of course the fucking reward could be enormous, but like realistically
Did he come out after the meme?
it's yeah, that's what I'm saying. He like, and that's another thing too, bro. Like his timestamp and his digital footprint and certain moves that he's made stretch depth further back than the creation of this meme, dude. Like that's what we have to give him the benefit of
Mm.
the doubt on. Is it's not like this meme was created and then all of a sudden he appeared out of thin air, right? Like he's been making moves for the past like years on his digital footprint that we were able to go back and verify. So I think at a certain point too, it's just like I'm not saying for people to have blind faith, but it's also like let's just handle it with let's handle it with some ease. Let's handle it with some coolness, right? Like and also keep in the mind that there are other people's money in here, right? So like let's just fucking handle it with graciousness. We want to get to the truth. I think I know the truth already. I think that I'm not alone. I'm definitely not alone in my belief that it's him, right? Like I know there are other people who are on this call right now who fully believe that it's him. Maybe who aren't speaking, who can't speak right now, but it's like So it's just like a couple dynamics to manage, and I think once again, us being just careful about how we go about this is everything. Is all I'm saying. Like, I don't think like we're not like this isn't fucking like somebody pulling up and saying that they're the tooth fairy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like.
I don't know. His photo looks like Tom from
I
MySpace.
mean, it kind of is.
It definitely kind of is like someone coming up and telling me that they're the tooth fairy. It's kind of almost exactly like that.
I mean, listen, bro. But I mean, at the end of the day, dude,
Hi, I'm Tom. You all have my coin.
let's be real. No matter what, it's fucking crazy that we spoke to Brock. Like that's we. I think we can all agree on that. That like
Yeah.
Why? Why? You
depend
like you're that
depending on what
presupposes
side
like
of
he's
the
a special person to talk to. Like I
bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you just don't. Okay, that's the thing. If
Hello.
you don't believe that he's like at this point, dude,
I do not just
like
straight up believe because somebody has written a nice long paper,
Yeah,
creative writing people. I
I
just
agree
don't
with you,
straight
Fud,
up, media.
for sure.
I just can't just go, okay, this is a nice paper, and here's some, old
okay, so
websites.
fun. Okay, so fun. Then let me ask you: Are you gonna sell? Are you gonna sell?
I don't know yet. I really don't. I
Right,
kind of like what
right,
you said.
right,
The hype
Well,
hasn't
I
hit
liked what
yet.
you
right.
said earlier. I liked what you said earlier about like, who said something about like even if it blows up, it's a good
Yeah,
idea.
no, he's
So
turning it.
Exactly, bro.
Every day that goes by, he's turning into a fucking meme. And you know what? We're pegged to that fucking meme. So I think,
I kind of like it. I mean, like I'm gonna like
The-
start replying
Pause.
to Donald Trump tweets being like, strategic Bitcoin reserve now, right
I
fucking
really hope.
now.
well, that's my point though. If all right, here's my point. If he's real, if he is really real, there and this was so small. Like I expected to hop on here and see like thousands when it was just like less than 50. I was like, so if he is real, it was kind of fakeish because it's small. But if he is real, he is. And the moment the CIA, anybody in the government gets wind of this, and they know Trump is getting all fired up about crypto, dude. That guy, no, he has no chance. He's gonna have a black hood. He's gonna be in the
Yeah, he's gonna be
CIA,
witness
and
protection for
because he's
sure.
gonna have two
Yeah, fuck
control
yeah,
over
dude.
the,
There's
the
gonna be a lot
economy.
of people that want to fuck him up, and that's just the bottom line. So
They'll take it from him,
yeah,
or
but I mean,
they'll make him
yeah,
a
if it is
puppet.
real, I mean, this will turn into a Luigi coin, fucking on steroids. Like I don't even know what to tell you guys. So
Bro, the U.S. government is gonna it's the black make it this reserve.
Dude, Luigi went to 66 million. Like, I'll never forget that
yeah,
moment. I
that
was
was
sitting
wild,
looking
bro.
at
How did you guys stumble upon him? Like, what was the origin story of this?
I
Somebody
saw
wrote a
some.
thread.
I saw one of the guys I follow, big accounts. He just tweeted, "Ain't no way the Pump Fund DJs figured out who the real Satoshi was." So I saw that tweet, and I immediately go to Pump Fund and I type in Satoshi, and there's the Pump Fund, and it's got Brock, Angelle, Thibodeaux on the Pump Fund. So I throw that into a Google search. I find his Instagram, and the rest is history. All of his links are on his Instagram.
Did
Hmm.
anybody catch that part where he said he came back mid last year, which checks out with the
Yeah,
flicker,
I
right?
heard that too.
Yeah.
But he also said, I don't know if this was before or after, it doesn't matter. He also said, I just came back like 3 weeks ago. I forgot what we were
No,
asking
I
him. He
missed
was
that
like,
part.
well, I just came back.
But what he did also say there was another file that you could verify rather than the APY to verify that that picture was the dated of the picture. What did he say? It was an XM file, an XX file. He said it was something.
Yeah, so we looked at the API on that, and there's no other photos on his profile. It's literally just those four or six. Hold on.
Yeah. And
Do a
he
reverse
said
image
that they were
search
in a
on his face.
private album. That's why those are
Correct,
the
correct,
only two
correct.
that were edited.
Yeah,
Right,
But
but
like,
there's
he
no,
had to move
and then he
them. He
said he
transferred them. Yeah,
unprivated. I don't know that didn't pass a sniff test for me.
yeah.
yeah,
I
me
don't know
either.
much about fucking what is that shit called again? Yeah, I
Flickr.
don't know much about Flickr, so
I
I'll
mean, because he said he unprivate. So in his document, this is where we found the Flickr to begin with. Is that in his document he said he just unprivated the album in December,
yeah.
and that's not the date. That's
But
I mean,
doesn't he
and
have the
dates are
Bitcoin
fine.
Talk
You might
account?
you
Doesn't he
might
have
misremember.
like all the accounts where he register it on the code or on GitHub? He could post on the Bitcoin Talk like originally that he had. That he can send an email to somebody from the original email. If none of those are possible, then it's like, bud,
Yeah, you're
we're not going to
absolutely
wait for
right.
you to sign the
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, so on page 12 of the document, maybe it's different on the new link, but there's a line here where it says October 25th, a Flickr album Brock Tibb uploaded has Satoshi and Bitcoin references, and then in parentheses, was a private album until December 2024.
So he's got
And
4
Hey,
fines.
hey, did you guys catch when he was asking about the Telegram? We need to get him in there.
That's what.
He's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
my
there's a
bad,
Yeah,
Telegram."
he was
bro.
interested.
I
I'll
cut out.
send them the link. I'll
I
DM
cut
them.
out. Please let me finish what I was saying. I cut out for some reason. Just look. And
Yeah, I'm
that's
sorry,
exactly
brother.
what I was gonna say, right? No, it's all good. That's exactly what I was gonna say, right? Is that I send him the telegram to the Brock fucking CTO. Let's get him in there, bro. And because at the end of the day, it's also like we're looking out not only for the story, but look out for your fucking pockets, bro. Like help him help you, right? And
For
vice
sure.
versa. We're helping him, right? So it's like, and that's the point I was making. If he goes to Denver and then is talking to people there, and then the cabal just gets fucking wind of that shit. They bundle up a crazy coin, convince him that that's the CA and all that shit. It's
Yeah,
lights out, bro. It's lights out
yeah,
for all of the hard work that's been put in here. But I
for sure.
told you this the last time, bro. You think it's fucking cute putting Satoshi or Nice Story Part 2. The name of this shit should have been Brock, bro. Brock
Yeah,
CTO exclusive fucking interview with
yeah,
Satoshi, bro. Like at the end of the day, bro, it's not time to be cute right now. Like it's time that it's about business and it's also about like at the end of the day, bro, we're essentially like the first people to break this story, bro. We have to have allegiance from him, bro. Because once at the end of the day, bro, I put in so much work as of everyone else and like talking to him, thinking about
Oh,
this.
chill out. It's been like 2 days, wrong. It's 2 days. Like, I mean, I get it. We want,
Bro,
we all want to have, a bag. I get it. But like, I think the coin is safe. The coins are old. If anybody's really interested in being in the best coin possible, you should go be in the one that was created 2 months ago, and not just this Brock one, because we did the exact same thing that you're afraid that the cabal is gonna do. I mean, like, we created a new coin and named it Brock, and we're all in here pushing this one, and everyone's like, we got to push it.
bro,
I'm more
bro,
worried about
fun.
verifying whether or not this motherfucker is actually him.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
Yeah,
got a
bro.
bigger than any bag. Okay,
I
if
think,
we're
I'm
I
not
all
think,
gonna
hey,
lie.
no,
I'm
I
more
think that,
worried
Bro,
about
Fun
figuring this
Fun wants
out.
the Netflix interview, bro,
hey,
so bad, bro.
the real mission is to get this out to the fucking mainstream and either expose them or fucking figure it out. Because the minute the big eyes start looking at the shit, he's gonna turn into a meme faster than you can fucking blink your
Bro,
eyes,
I
and that's
had
that's
so
really
100%, bro.
the
bro,
fucking
bro.
goal, dude.
To speak to that, I had so I don't know if you guys saw the an account in here called Counterculture, right? I had like so one of my homies runs a pretty like I don't want to say it's the biggest of all time, but it's a pretty like known publication that's getting around. It's an online publication. He's the owner and chief editor. He's down to write like a
Dude, that'd be
story maybe
fucking
about this.
Bro,
huge,
what
bro.
is
No, no, no,
up?
no. Bro, he was no, listen, I don't once again, bro, I literally was speaking to him like during the interview, right? Like he was listening to everything. He knows the lore and his account was listening to like when Satoshi was speaking. So I'm literally after I get off this spaces, I'm gonna chop it up with him and be
Fuck
like,
yeah.
bro, like because I told him I was like, bro, this is the exclusive, bro. Like this is like I'm giving this to you as being like because even his publication, it kind of does like fringe things, like like on the fringe of like internet culture and stuff like that. It's like, bro, he was a part of the spaces and heard you speak, like heard the questions I asked him, heard the questions that Bud asked him. So I'm gonna double back and be like, bro, like I think like this is like, of course, like this is what we're talking. The gravity of what we're talking about here is obviously so phenomenal. So there will be
Right.
eyes on this story, bro. Like there's gonna be. So that's another reason why I'm saying, bro, like lock in, bro. Like we need to lock in. We need to also once again not be. And I'm not saying that anybody was, but we need to treat him with like not care. We don't have to treat him like he has a like anything, no, but it's like, bro, like at the end of the day, bro, like yo, don't burn the bridge, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
don't
no, I
burn
completely
don't
hear
burn
your
the
concept of
I
bridge.
that
did
for sure.
reverse image search on his face. 4 results came up. One of them was on Goodreads. So the review says, one of the greatest biographies I've had the pleasure of reading, listening to, January 4th, 25th. Ready? It's Putin, his life and times. I don't like that but see, I don't like that he's
What?
starting to leave little bullshit footprints like this that are in the present. If he starts to build a paper trail now, it's more conspicuous. Or it's more like,
Yeah, I don't understand why he put the Goodreads out there, because everything is literally from this year, and this year's only
Yeah.
existed for 32 days.
No, you could look back at last year too.
Is
I
there?
just checked.
I was
If
trying
you
to
look
find
at
the
his
other ones.
2024 books, if you like go to his books or whatever the fuck, you could click on something and it says books from 2024 that he read or whatever, and it shows you all the shit he read
And why
from
wouldn't he
last
do it
year.
as Brock?
Who's going to
Alright.
Denver, dude? Is what I want to know. Who's gonna go to fucking
Yo,
Denver and fucking meet this guy?
Where's this
Dan, you
dude?
alpha? You're not trying to go?
Oh, I mean, so I have to go run a half marathon before that week, but it is during it's just the last week of the year. Would it be worth the plane ticket to go fly out there and go say hi?
For sure, bro.
To
Probably.
get that
For
I
private
think
sure,
key?
probably.
bro.
I mean,
It's crazy. I go to fucking Nicaragua the week after too. So, I mean, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know.
Bro,
Dude.
we'll create a donation
I would
wallet for
want to
your
go with
flight.
somebody else.
We'll
I'd want to go with
fucking
somebody else. I
we'll
mean, you guys heard how retarded I am on the space. I don't know how to fucking talk Bitcoin and like cryptography and shit like that. Like I'm just a dude. I'm just fucking. I've just been trading, man. Been trading and talking, and
Wait,
I don't know.
so
Maybe I'll just go.
so
I'm down to go network with other people there, and go. I'll create
yeah,
an
do it,
angry
bro.
mob. I'll
so
create an
wait,
angry mob of
are
fucking.
are we all in agreement? Like he's a real person, like Brock Thibodeaux.
Mm,
He's a real person. He is
I
who
think
he
so,
says he
yeah.
is.
I
The,
think so,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
only
I think he's a
the
real
only
person.
the only question is, is he Satoshi? So this
Right.
is what I'm thinking about right here. So if he doesn't come through and prove with, irrefutable proof that it is him, he just completely destroyed and burned
Correct.
his
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
reputation
Yeah.
going forward. Like he'll never be able to do a project. He'll never be able to, like be a
Yeah.
part of any community. They'll be like, oh, that's the psychopath who said he was Satoshi Nakamoto. Like no one would work with him. So
Dude,
that's another part of it
you
that's
know how
interesting.
CT works. They love
I
that
don't know. I
shit.
feel like, well, I mean,
They
like,
love
it's not
that
the first
shit.
person to do that, though. There's the other guy that made up the same lie. It doesn't stop people from making that lie up. It's just
But then
some
did
people are
that person destroyed their entire reputation, right?
Correct.
right. Yep,
Documented.
they're not dead. They tried to do something when they failed, and I mean, what
No,
led
but
that
like
person to do that? What led that
how
other
many people
person?
have pretended to be fucking Satoshi, right? Like
I think
I
three.
think it's just Craig Wright. Craig Wright that's fucking most famous for it.
I thought there was two others, but
maybe
Uh
Craig Wright knows who it is, and it's some really uncredible person. So he's like, "Let me fucking do it."
it's his
He's like,
let
"It's
me
this
do
twerp that's like,
it.
no history."
His credentials suck. Yeah.
it's his cousin Kenny. He's the fucking Bitcoin creator.
Yeah, his cousin made the shit
I'm
with no CV, and then he's sitting there going, "I have all this crap," and
I'm dealing with all the government shit right now, you motherfucker. You want to go take a hike, you bitch?
his Goodreads is as Satoshi Nakamoto. That should have been as Brock.
That's Brock. Yeah, I know, man. Well, what cracked me up the most is when you go to his Instagram and the first line is founder, comma, Bitcoin. I was like, come on.
Jesus, comma Christ.
I
Straight up.
mean, like, that type of stuff
Maybe
to
he's
me
the
there
founder of
is
Bitcoin,
so.
comma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different organization.
Oh man.
That was just, I don't know. That was sent me.
What did he want to talk about with the eBay account? He was bringing up something with the eBay account that kind of. I was driving, so I
Yeah,
missed it.
like that. I don't. I think he's once again trying to prove that the Smirnoff account, the Smirnoff 117 or something account, was his, and it's like in the header of like when you print off a PDF page, you can like include a header or something that looked like that.
Yeah.
It looked like the name and the email address were in the header, but then he had scratched out the
Right.
like when you get an automated email from somebody, it says "Dear so and so." He scratched that name out, and that's what I
Yeah.
was pressing him on. He
I
said
remember
like,
hearing
"Oh,
your.
it
I
was
remember hearing the tone in your voice. I was like, "Oh shit, you fucking lost him right there."
like why did you scratch the name out?" And
Yeah, Bud wanted to burn him at the stake for
he
the
said
bro,
first
I
10
don't want to
minutes of the
burn. I just
shift,
want him to.
bro.
he
You
said he
should
was
be
a
able to test
minor,
up to
right?
a little bit.
He said he was a
My
minor and he
incredulous.
was using his parents' name. So like, if we can
There
figure
are
out his
websites that
parents'
let
name,
you find
okay.
every instance of it. Like it'll check
So
180 websites for the same
so
username.
so if we can figure out his parents' name, we can figure out what was scratched out, right? And then we can kind of call him out
Well, if
on
you
that.
go look at on Facebook, there's a Jim Thibodeaux, and it's like literally "Happy birthday to our son Brock." So and so years ago, he came into our lives, and in the picture, the guy's wearing U.S. Army Ranger fatigues.
Huh.
I was like,
Bro, Bud is about to name the next spaces the Salem witch hunt. Honestly, bro, like bro, like
Dude, I gotta be a little bit more
Yeah,
hardcore than just. I
you're very
gotta.
hot
I
and cold, bud. Very hot and
I
cold.
am. That's how every. I mean, that's how trading is. I guess that's how I've been trading my entire week. It's like you. It's either full conviction or you're out,
For
right?
Yeah.
sure.
And
bro,
like
binary.
honestly, I'm full conviction on the stuff that he's provided. Like it is. It looks to be coherent, legitimate information that came from one single person, and but that doesn't prove legitimacy to the
Yeah.
claim, right? It's just authentic information. Like I can sit down and write a whole bunch of information that articulates an idea, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
I think
it doesn't cross the threshold.
I think a plan
But
B
how
for
many?
this.
But how many people are doing that though? That's something to take into account. Like if you like, okay,
Regardless, I think the plan B for this is making sure we get coverage on this guy as much as possible because whether he wins or fails, it's a win-win for the fucking coin. So like I think our focus needs to be people talking about this guy, right?
Okay, you
bro,
guys
yeah,
play good cop and I'll play bad cop,
Yeah,
and
for
we
sure.
win to that both
that's
ends, right?
fine. That's
For
fine.
sure.
Yo, definitely send yo. But all right, on a serious level, Fud, definitely send him the like send him the TG link for Brock. Like send him that shit.
I will.
I don't
I
know. I
will.
didn't really like that when you grilled him about why did he block the name? Why did he omit the name? He was kind of like scrambling around for a bit, and then he was like, "Oh well, my parents," like he
Yeah,
didn't
he
really
said he
like,
was a minor. He said he was a minor and
but he didn't
he
give
might
that
have used
right away.
yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
don't. I'm trying to
Man, the
protect
same
someone's
thing with the
identity."
whole like Brock Tib, email Twitter
Yeah,
account. It's like this is my only Twitter account, and he's like, well, what about all these mentions? And he's like, oh, well, I might have had one for a month in
yeah,
college, and then oh well, no, I mean like yeah, I had it for a while,
Eh,
like.
yeah.
Like it's so much easier to believe like okay this guy's a good liar but he is
Yeah,
lying
what would have
He's
happened if he said
he's
you,
yes
wishy
though?
washy.
What would have happened if
yeah
he said yes? Like, yeah, that was mine. What would you have said?
that would have been a much
That
better
would have been
answer than no I
believable.
didn't have anything.
That would have been better because I already had proof. I already knew that was his. I was basically trying to see if he was lying to me or not.
What if there was people on that account that he didn't want you to see as far as like I mean, obviously he saw mutuals and
I
shit, but
mean,
like
probably he probably got a little nervous.
Yeah, probably like
maybe he had a sense of panic right there, like, oh
He
fuck,
probably did.
maybe I shouldn't fucking agree to that.
he probably did because the one guy that we've actually reached out to and talked to that seems to know him from real life goes immediately unrequested. He goes, "Yeah, this guy's a bullshitter."
Exactly. And then this other
Bro, but
guy,
Fud, you're saying, but Fud. Let's be real though. Let's be real. That the
I
dude from the
I
Appalachian
fucking
Trail.
am.
No, but I'm just saying, the dude from the Appalachian Trail said that. Who knows where he knows? You've been involved in crypto for God knows how long, and you said the same thing, bro. So it's like, yo, at the end of the day,
That's
anyone's
that's
liable
called
to say
consistency.
yeah, but I'm just saying anyone's liable, bro. Anyone is once again, we all have agreed that it's such a big deal that it's clearly like a binary thing, right? Like you either believe or like you don't believe, and even being on the fence. Let's be real. The reason why some people are on the fence might be because they have the coin, bro. So it's like part of them wants it to be real because they want to see like this shit exponentially go up. But at the end of the
Okay,
day, yeah, go ahead,
let's play devil's advocate. Why is he doing this?
dude. He said why he's doing this.
No, but I mean, like, in your opinion, why would like if you were in his shoes, why would you be doing this? For
fame,
Bro,
money.
is it capital gain? Is it capital
I,
gain?
I don't think he has any supply in anything. I don't think he's doing this
Dude,
for any
the
dude.
fact
Like
that he asked about the Telegram tells me he doesn't know shit about fucking meme coins. He liked Trump coin. He liked fucking Solana. He liked fucking he bought
Well,
Doge,
he said he
is what
doesn't
he
own any
said.
Solana, which was like,
Correct.
okay, like, I don't know.
so
I
the
think it has something to do with his future project that he wrote about, the block ocean thing and this whole new system. If you read about it,
Okay.
Definitely. And then this whole thing provides him like crazy credibility,
But once again, that
legitimacy.
whatever he's doing in the future pegs him to what he's doing right now for it. Like in
Yeah,
front
for
of us.
sure.
So like this guy's gonna either look like a fucking fool or we're gonna look like fucking fools.
No,
We're
I'm
playing
not gonna
chicken
look
with
like a
this fucking guy.
fucking. I'm not gonna look like fucking nothing, brother. I'm it. I told you, my position is always last. God damn it. I am sturdy as my shit, bro. Now you motherfuckers keep me on the fence. I'm not looking
Sturdy.
like anything, bro.
He's
Sturdy,
sturdy, bro. He's sturdy. He's standing in
fact.
it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
He's got
standing on my
motion,
shit,
bro.
bro.
He's
Do
got motion
y'all
like a
think
motherfucker.
Jesus is your Lord
Hell,
and
what the hell?
Savior?
Of
Yes,
of
yes, we
course.
do.
Of
We
course.
do.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
a very interesting and articulate app, but I'm going to remove you from speakers. I appreciate your question, though. Bye.
I appreciate that, Reaper. That kind of freaked me out. And I'm
yeah,
religious.
that voice was scary, dude.
It
Jesus.
was.
Another reason why females should not be on the internet at all. So I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
Satoshi is definitely a close second for Lord and Savior, though.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well, at least we know he
People.
actually fucks because he has a girlfriend. That's
facts.
always good.
Well, he's 35 and still has a girlfriend. I don't know.
Hey,
That's
and did
kind
you
of come
guys
on,
remember he said, yeah, I told my girlfriend about Bitcoin, but I didn't really tell anybody else.
bro. We gotta go find the girlfriend. We gotta go
No.
find.
Ooh.
Oh my
He
god.
was. I mean, this is all recorded. We can all go back and see the points where he was being a little wishy washy. But I think
Yeah, for sure.
when we asked that, he was also like, "I haven't told anyone, but I'm slowly starting to tell friends, but I haven't told anyone." Right? What the fuck?
I'm like, how the fuck do you not tell anyone at all? Like, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
was either disconnected from the internet entirely and had no idea what the fuck happened after he stepped away, or
How the fuck do you create Bitcoin and then become disconnected from the internet? I don't.
I mean,
Bro,
yeah.
because that's exactly the type of dude to do some like lit shit like this,
Yeah, I
bro.
agree with
Like,
that.
come on, man. Like, once again, he's not like you cannot be a regular dude, bro, to do something like this.
Yeah, he looks
Like,
like he drinks Mountain Dew and fucking kayaks on the fucking Alpines or some shit. I don't know.
what did you want him to say? Yeah, I just got the club last night, bro, and we ordered 5 bottles. And like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah,
he's like a
I was hoping to hear a ooh rah at least.
no, dude. Come on.
I'm just
He's
kidding.
just a chill. He's just a chill guy, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? He's a chill guy
Yeah,
fight. Dude, he's literally a chill guy
Okay.
fighting AI. That's it. Like,
yeah,
that's
he's
it.
got a bone to pick with AI for sure.
All right. What
He-
is funny is that on Goodreads.com, one of the listings. I'm not sure if this is like the legit listing for it, but the listing, a listing for the Bitcoin white paper on Goodreads that has reviews, 240 ratings, 29 reviews. Reviews going back to 2019, 2020, 2021 from like a lot of people, like actual reviews. This is the listing for the white paper.
Ugh.
In the about the author section, it's literally him. It's a picture of him, and it says Satoshi Nakamoto, and
And what year was
it's
this dated?
literally. Uh, I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like the listing. The listing looks to pre-exist. All of this information because the reviews go back to 2019.
Yeah.
okay.
So is it a review on a certain comment, or what is it a review on?
It's like a review on the actual white paper.
But
It
Okay.
says Bitcoin. Oh, it's like a list. It's like a listing for the Bitcoin white paper. Like on Goodreads, it has all these listings for all these different books, and people could be like, "Oh, I want to read this," or "I'm currently
Yeah.
reading this," and they could. Okay, so a listing. I'm not sure if it's the only listing for the Bitcoin white paper, but a listing on Goodreads for Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system by Satoshi Nakamoto, which has a 4.3 rating out of 5. I guess it says there's something that says first published May 28, 2011. Um, but it says like in the about the author section, it's his picture.
Oh,
So I don't know how he got Goodreads to
but
do that, but
these are the only dates that
there you
hey,
go.
he's good,
have
bro. He's
fallen
fucking
out
good.
of
He's real fucking good.
the
I mean,
range
like,
Dude,
are
he's
we saying
giving it.
Goodreads like did the authentication? They're like, oh, this is him.
bro,
This is his
either he
picture.
is literally God or he's just Satoshi, bro. Like, that's what it is at this point.
You got
Like,
to
you
give
know what I
hey,
mean?
hey, you got to give him this though. You really fucking do. He he's on his shit when you ask him about I guess things he knows about. You right like you who did the fucking the hidden message question.
I did,
Um
I did, I did.
yeah, and he starts talking about the fucking newspaper, bro. He just went on a random spiel about a detail of what it was on, and where did he say it came from? Um, he said it was
The
a
New York Times, but like if it's someone
No,
that knows the lore and you're trying to portray yourself as something, you'd have to know that. You would need
no,
to
absolutely.
but
know
then look,
like
but
what
then
he's
okay,
talking
okay,
about.
okay, okay, okay. But what about okay, good, good.
Wait. That's not like a top 10 question to fucking ask somebody.
Thank you. And also, let's be real. When he answered that question, he also added additional detail. Like he gave that example of if you opened a Word document and everything was
Yeah,
jumbled. Like it
jumbled.
wasn't
Yep.
like he. It was no. Listen, I'm just saying it wasn't like he was just like
He was talking from experience right there.
Okay, well,
exactly.
The
I
only
will
person
say,
that would give you that description of what it would look like when you fucking process something through that fucking program at that time is someone that actually fucking saw it happen and look at it.
okay, I will say, I didn't find the fact that he knew that you were talking about the New York Times thing notable. I
It
think
wasn't the
anybody
New
that
York
knows the
Times. He said
lore.
it was fucking from a different country. I just can't fucking remember if it was Britain or fucking.
Well, the secret message literally says it says the New York Times, and then it
Chancellor,
says so and so
Chancellor, or something.
Chancellor second bailout. I mean, like that's right there. I didn't. That was not the thing. What I found interesting and novel was that he came up with the explanation that this was the first block ever, and that's why it was jumbled up. There's nothing else to hash along with.
Right.
That
Yeah.
seemed
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a novel
Yep.
explanation that came from a first person experience. That to me was like I was like, oh,
Like
I
it's
like
not gonna
that.
look like what you think it looks like. It's gonna look like this because it didn't have the fucking nodes and
Right,
connections
like
to fucking do
he
it. Yeah.
actually
No. Yeah. That was
he
crazy,
offered
bro.
like a good explanation
Yeah.
for that
Bro,
for
and
sure.
the same thing that happened last night is happening right now, right? Where last night when we had the spaces after the first spaces where he joined, we chopped that shit up last night. And at the beginning we were skeptical, right? But as time went on, more and more
We're still
people fucking
skeptical,
believe.
brother. We're still very
No,
I'm
bro,
still
you're
skeptical.
very
skeptical.
skeptical.
Bro,
We're
you're
still very. Hey,
skeptical.
but
But I'm just saying it's the same
we're coming to an
dynamic.
agreement that he's on his shit. He knows his shit. He's definitely
Oh my
elaborate.
Yeah, I'll
God,
say he knows
bro.
his shit, bro. He has a 22-page document like dedicated to this shit. Like this
Yeah.
obviously takes time. He's obviously been around this for a long
Dude,
time.
imagine he's gonna be the actor for the next fucking Satoshi movie or some shit, and he's just fucking in character right now, mind fucking us.
Oh my God.
Did you guys ever think about that, motherfuckers?
Damn, now I gotta Google upcoming Bitcoin movies.
For sure, dog. Because he speaks like a fucking actor. And I'm not trying to call him out or anything like that, but he's just a little too on point sometimes, and I'm just like, is he in character or is this really fucking him?
I
Bro,
just didn't like he didn't want to give me any crypto like
For sure.
cryptography spiel
Yeah.
at all. Like that was just like he said, I didn't want to talk about that, and then didn't say anything else. I was
Yeah, that didn't really sit right with me.
bro, I was like, come on, man. I know like it's boring. I know that I'm not gonna understand it. I know it's technical, but that's not the reason why I'm asking because I want you to use this as an opportunity to demonstrate to all of us you have that level of expertise,
Did
that
you
you
guys see
have that
that fucking
knowledge.
John Cena movie where the dude was just a fucking complete drunk and they find him in Vegas and then he fucking acts like fucking their homie's fucking friend with cancer or some shit?
No.
What the fuck is that movie called? Anyways, dude, fucking it reminds me of that. I think he's in character. Like honestly, I hope it's fucking real. I really fucking do. But like, there's 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 weird things about it for sure.
I kind of still think that he has a lot more to lose than we do, primarily because like you're on Crunchbase, you created this new company, you're chasing this capital,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely,
we're just like in the trenches, and we're
Well,
like, hey,
dude.
we're like 70 people, we're ready.
That's why we need to go to Denver and just start whispering in every motherfucker's ears like this guy thinks he's Satoshi. This guy thinks he's Satoshi.
Yo, you should talk to your boy Purple and see what he would do. Maybe he has some connections with someone that he
For
could push us
sure.
off to, and
Yeah, maybe
kind
we
of
no,
get some
I
press
set
mean
up
to
some
be
passes.
research.
Hey,
to
get us
be
some press passes, bro.
to be honest, I mean like bro, like I'm listen, dude. I I know a couple people, a couple like pretty big people in this space. Like I'm not gonna lie, like seriously big people. So it's
Hell yeah.
like, I mean, but it's not like that's another thing too. Like, I'm not trying to like fucking flex everybody. Like, I think calls are so fucking stupid, bro. And it's not even calls who I know. I'm talking about like people who just like operate in the tech of this shit as well, like of the Solana shit. But I mean, dude, at the end of the day, like, I think once again, I already told you guys transparently. I had homie from counterculture who was here, right? Like who definitely was super intrigued by the story when I first told him about it. Me and him are definitely gonna have another conversation about this. It's 11:14 p.m. where I'm at. So like most likely tomorrow. I like the reason why I invited him, I mean, it really was just like, once again, like, dude, I think this is something, as a person who just operates a publication, I think like this is something, and specifically the type of publication that he has, I think it would be something that you'd be interested in. I will definitely see, like, if he's intrigued to the point of writing it up. I mean, I'm sure he probably is, right? Like, he spent good time on
Yeah.
it. It's interesting as fuck. But once again, like, I think that this is something that over time, like, we're at the beginning of this shit. Like, we really are at the beginning of this shit. I think we're in such a solid place, and even the fact that this is recorded, like, this is forever, dude. Once again, like, wherever you stand on how real this is, like, the fact that we have a recorded on wax interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it, with Brock is epic, dude. Is epic, and like, we can chop this up. I think I've talked about this in the telly. I think we should have like a YouTube account where we put out the recordings at the very least. I mean, that's another thing too. Like, I think, which is why it's also important to have Brock in the Telegram, right? Is I definitely think we shouldn't look at it as, oh, we got you, we're gonna expose you, right? It should also kind of be working with him, like, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah,
do
man.
you feel do you feel comfortable with us publishing this in this way? Do you want to like embrace it in this way? Because ultimately, and I'm telling you guys this, I promise you this, working with him and not like, not necessarily against him, but like just going rogue in terms of this is not wise, bro. Like, it's not wise. Like, you may have potentially, think about all of you. I think it is. I'll just say potential just for the people who are on the fence. You, all of us may have potentially just made the biggest connection that you could ever make. Like, this is the God call. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, this is like,
and
this is the, like, the, yeah, go ahead.
and either way how it goes, bro, like, I think this might be an out of pocket statement, but like, they're gonna be talking about us rather than fucking him, because we're the fucking idiots that fucking drank the punch type shit. So like, the big
For
story is
sure.
gonna be on us, no matter how it goes. If it goes good or it
No,
goes
I
bad,
don't know about
we're gonna.
that.
That's why we need to go to fucking Denver and fucking
Dude,
add some fucking lore to this shit.
that's why I'm trying
The,
to
the
verify
lore
this
the lore
before
could
we
take us
get bigger
quite
eyes on it.
far between now and the strategic Bitcoin reserve, whether or not he signs those keys. We could go pretty far with just the lore right now.
Yeah,
A
that's for
hundred
sure.
percent.
If we market it the right way,
This
It's
recording
all.
is hands down one of the most important things that we have. Like, to have the spaces recorded, the like, you could stretch this recording to the Kalamazoo, dude. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I need some of those pants you're wearing, bro. They're moony as hell.
listen, I'm just saying,
What was I
dude.
going with that?
But I mean, it is what it is. We had a great time. I mean, either way, like, this shit is part of fucking history, dude. Like, we had a great conversation with a dude who was pretty informative, a dude who presented himself to us. We asked him the right questions. We asked him tough questions. We asked him about his perspective. And that's another thing you guys should take into account. At the end of the day, like, all right, for the people who don't believe, even if you want to say he's a complete liar, then we just got a great interview with a dude who's claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, which a lot of people
Exactly.
have.
Yep.
And
That's my thesis.
we got the chance to have an exclusive interview with someone who's claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, right?
For
I
sure.
believe
Yep.
he is. Some people believe it's a claim. Either way, that's valuable in and of itself. That's valuable in and of itself. So it's
Yeah, I
like,
think
bro, like, yeah, good.
if we found all this I mean, we didn't find it, it was kind of given to us, but like, if we are looking through all this shit and finding it intriguing, I guarantee, like, in the right fucking pair of eyes, there's gonna be other motherfuckers like that are gonna look into us. It's gonna be a story. It's our job to fucking do it. I like the guy that fucking created the Reddit. That's cool. We need to do the 4chan shit. We need to do the TikTok shit. Someone needs to
Yeah,
figure
so
this
we
out.
don't want to scare him away. We don't want to
No,
scare
not
him away. We want
absolutely.
to be cool with him and let him do his thing. And
We're embracing the fucking journey,
yeah,
bro.
Facts.
It's definitely fucking exciting, and appreciate the fucking rabbit hole over the last 48 hours. I look forward to what the
Yeah,
fucking future
legit,
has for us, and
legit.
I'm ready to play chicken with this motherfucker.
Yep, same, dude. Red light, green light, motherfucker.
Oh, next time you gotta pass it one. So I heard you smoking, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Motherfuckers
All
be
right.
stone
Well,
stone talking to Satoshi and shit.
yeah. I mean, I'm really not one way or the other. It's going to be an interesting couple of days to see how it goes. I want to be tough, but I want to be fair. I don't want to come
Yeah.
off an
Yep.
asshole, but you got to
Yeah,
be
definitely.
critical and be really thinking about what we're talking about here, and trying to apply logic and critical reasoning against it, and not just being like blown away at the prospect of how crazy it would be. I mean, it is, and I hope it is, but so I think we'll just keep talking. I think what did we say that we need to do? Somebody said that we need to come up with like a body of questions that could better articulate, um, credibility rather than asking like technical stuff. We need to come up with like other questions that can draw and illustrate who he
Yep.
is claiming he
Absolutely.
is,
For sure.
in a constructive
I
way.
think we can do
So
that in the
No, it's
Telegram too. We just need to post a few polls and start getting numbers, and we'll do
for
it
we
that
need to
sure.
go
way.
like talk to people that actually know like the Bitcoin history and lore and see what their
Right.
assessment is.
We got
Dude,
to
and
get the
also
we got to get the
once
Bitcoin
again,
maxis on board.
having him, that's another thing too, just to even add to like him being a real person and credibility. Like honestly, I really think he like please, bud, like send him the link to the TG and have him join. And like even him just being there, right, and being accessible. Like think about that. That even just adds to the value of the project, right? The fact that we are the only place pretty much where we have access to like this dude and being able to talk to him, engage with him. Because then quite honestly, it's like he doesn't always have to appear on spaces, right? It's also like he's just
Yeah,
in the telly, he's talking to people, like people can ask him questions and he can answer them at his own pace, right? So it's like
sure. Well,
there's
I
a
think on
beauty
Twitter too, he's been replying. He's been talking now.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll learn a
for
lot
sure.
about him via Telegram too, man. I'm down for
Yeah,
that. I think it would be a good move, and we're gonna learn a lot about him if he jumps in there and engages.
for
So
sure.
I'm here, man. Let's go for this ride.
And the next couple of days, like either way, once again, like the fact that he's tweeting and he's just active. So either way, the next couple of days are just gonna be wild, dude. Like the more active he is, the more we engage with him, the more once again we have this space. It's recorded. Eventually we'll put it out someplace. We should speak to him about if he feels comfortable putting it out, how we should do that, whether he would embrace it. Because that's another thing too. Imagine if we put it out like that's why I don't think we should go rogue, right? Because like, what if we just put it out, he doesn't know about it, and all of a sudden he's like, what if he's like, listen, if you guys put this out, I'll retweet it, or I'll endorse it, or I'll show people that this was the first time I really spoke to people. You see what I mean? So it's like either way, incorporating him and bringing him into the fold is like for the betterment for everybody, like
I,
literally
th-
for everybody.
I
But
think he wants it too.
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Damn, bro, this
All
guy's got
right,
a lot
boys.
of fucking books. Crazy. I'm looking at his Goodreads profile. Finally found the right link.
He's read a lot of crypto books, so it would make sense that he's like knowledgeable about all this shit, you know.
Honestly, like the oldest ones.
How do you know he wrote
Okay, yeah, I
books?
mean,
You got books that he's written that are legitimate, or what? I can buy them on fucking Amazon.
no, you can go on his profile and you can look at all the books that he's read and written reviews. And I mean, like you can see like when he added the books uh, to his Goodreads profile, and
Yeah, kind of like how he did with the movies and the period of time where he was listening to Nirvana, fucking that type
right,
shit.
and
Yeah,
he's just trying to draw like the influences and once again, like I think that's the strongest thing. Like his character testimony is testament. Like it reads authentically. It's not explicitly related to Bitcoin itself, but it draws the picture and it allows you to see into the mind of the person. And I think like that either is A, the most incredible LARP ever, or B, authentic. And in that binary, I'm more inclined to think it's authentic. But it
right.
doesn't do anything back to that, definite the
Yeah,
other binary of whether or not he legitimately has the keys and can sign or not. But I just think at like a qualitative level, it's very compelling.
for sure. Yep, I think that's what everyone's basically on the fence as how elaborate this shit is. Like this is
Yeah, and like that's the other thing that really compels me is that the length and the age of all the different accounts and everything, the videos, the Twitter account being back in 2009. um, the Flickr photos. It's crazy to think that you still have access to all these things from that old. Posted around the time. I just don't
yeah.
like it when we start looking at under the hood at the API, and it goes, "Oh, this got edited July 2024." I'm like edited because you're trying to conceal things and be deceptive, or edited because
You're
you were
sloppy.
literally telling the truth and you're trying to come out and tell people, and like you're clicking around on stuff that you haven't touched for almost 2 decades.
For sure. Yeah,
Like it's
he
just
uses terms that are like so fucking boomer, dude. I'm trying to think, what the fuck would
he asked me like what a degen is earlier.
yeah.
It's like
It,
he's
he called it he
35,
called
but
it
it's
he
also
called it Twitter, and then he instantly corrected the X. What else did he fucking say?
that was the
I don't
only
know,
thing I
but
didn't
this guy
like. I
might
didn't
be my
like that he
richest
said that he
friend.
didn't. What's that?
I said I don't know, but at some point this guy might become my richest friend.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be great?
A lot of books. I mean, he
Bro,
just
like,
had like, man.
understand that at some point Netflix is gonna send all of us an email, dude. Like, this is fucking
You
crazy,
know what I'm
bro.
hoping for is this is a fucking actor, bro. It really is, and it is a script. He's on a script, and he's fucking experimenting with us, and then come to find out, this motherfucker is like James Dean 2.0, fucking Hollywood next fucking superstar or some shit.
Spent a
Bro.
lot of time adding books.
Now that would fucking send the coin for sure, regardless of the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, either way, we have to embrace that. Like, this is gold, no matter
It
what,
is.
bro.
It
Like, this
is.
is this is gold. It's gold, and like once again, I mean, my position is clear, dude. Like, I think it's such gold. I like even, and I meant that. Like when I said that, by the way, that wasn't LARP. Like, I like working like clinical psychology, like working with like adults, with kids, like
Yeah.
in clinical psychology. So I can even tell just on the phone, like honestly at this point in my career, like if someone's lying, if
He was
someone's
very fluent,
bullshitting,
bro. He was very
whatever,
fluent.
dude, he was fluent to the point, like once again, that we would like it's literally quite literally what you said that like we're either dealing with like the most like an actor that's had a script for a long time and is doing research on their next movie, like
Yeah,
or it's Satoshi. There's no in between.
for sure.
Like there's just
So,
Yep.
what's
no in
your
between.
opinion
That's where I'm
about
at.
when he kind of panicked there when I asked him about his IRL mutuals and his Twitter and shit?
Dude, I mean, I think once again, there, like we also have to leave room for the fact of like he's answering questions of such gravity, right, with such fluidity that like he's still a human being, right? And there's also inevitably going to be things that like he's nervous about as well. He doesn't want to reveal, but I do think that the most critical elements of what we were trying to decide being whether or not he was Satoshi. Once again, I think he is, but like I am 100% convinced that he is. Some people are on the fence. All of those particular questions, he was very fluid in answering. And even when he gave answers that people felt were dodgy, he gave an explanation as for why, and he answered other questions to more detail than you would have thought he would have, right? If he was being dodgy. So once again, there's so much and here's another. I think that this is the main thing, right? At this point, we all certainly can agree that there's more evidence supporting that he is Satoshi than against him. Like the only things that you're saying to listen, the only things that you're saying to prove that he isn't Satoshi are really just like speculative things, right? Whereas the cold hard things that we can read,
I don't know. I
that
think
we
you
can
should
listen
stop
to,
saying we all think that because a lot of us are on the fence. Honestly, this is all speculation at the end of the day. So
It's like
I
there's
mean,
not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of personal information that we have no way of verifying that I think looks good and is articulate and is a good color of jobs. All of the relevant stuff to Bitcoin is publicly information, and the thing. And he said that like he was very articulate about things. I don't think he was. I asked him about cryptography, and he goes, "No, I don't want to talk about that." It's like, come on, like give me a little something. And then you asked him the question about the Bitcoin Genesis block, and that is literally in his white paper. Of course, he's going to be able to give you a good answer about that because he's already answered it. It's in his white paper. You asked him about something that he's already talked about, and he gave you a regurgitation of that information that he already
all
put in
right.
there.
Well, the
And
key,
then
the
the same
Why
key.
thing.
Good.
why was the talk about cryptography so important to you? I have
Because
no
I think it
idea. I
articulates
don't even know
a,
what the
a
fuck that
knowledge
is.
base
So
that you possess. Like if you ask me about Solana meme coins, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, I don't want to talk about Solana meme coins. Like I would be able to talk about it and articulate it to you, and at least give you a brief overview, and being able to summarize it concisely. it articulates and tells
What
me
if
that
it's a
you
trade
have a
secret?
good
What's it?
understanding of it.
What if it's a trade secret? What if it's something that?
What?
What if the reason he? I'm just saying. You said it's all speculation. I'm leaving room for what if that was something that he wanted as the original programmer of Bitcoin to keep close to the vest. Like, what if he didn't want to reveal? What if he had his reason for giving that answer? What if him saying why he chose that specific code over the other one would have then given somebody else access to
Okay,
maybe create
fine.
something
I'll
similar?
just say that's fine. Maybe he does have that explanation. I'm just saying it's not. He did not have articulate answers. He had answers on a white paper that he said back to you. And the exact same thing when you asked him about the inspiration for the, you like led him on that question like why 21, and then he literally tells you what he has in the paper. Oh, Smirnoff number 21, 21 million, 21 million, 2 1. It's not 20. It's not 20. It's not 25. It's 21 million.
All right, Fud,
What?
you've already said that for you, the only thing that would fully convince you at like to the point of 100% certainty is him signing the keys, right? You've already said that. And
It's
you've
not the
already
only thing that would convince me. It is the only thing that can confirm identity. This is not a subjective or personal take. That isn't
sure,
that is the
sure.
only objective thing.
That is true. That is true. But he also answered as to when he would be willing to do that.
And that once again, I told you I don't
Th-
like that
This,
answer because it's tied to a non-deliverable. It's an undeliverable day. It's something that I would buy. Like that's like a classic, like a high level lie, like a good level, like, oh, I'll do
But
it
bro,
when this happens.
If you were Satoshi, bro, like you wouldn't just be like, to be honest with you, if when you asked him, can you sign the key? If he was like, oh yeah, bro. Like, let me just do it for you right now. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? This guy is like, this is a fucking retard, right? Like the fact that he said he wanted to wait for a specific moment, he gave like a clear reason as to why he was waiting for that point, and said it like, yo, when it happens soon, I'll do it. And he also agreed once again to sign the key in such a smooth. It wasn't like, yo, yeah, bro, I can sign the key. It was like, yeah, I'll sign the key for you guys. Like, well, I'll join the spaces. We can do it together. Sure. Right? So cool about it, right? There was no nervousness, no hesitation. It sounded like a person who had plans, who knew what they were going to do, who was decisive about it, and who was also open because at this point he's willing to do something to do it with a community that have embraced him. Nothing less than that, bro.
I don't know. I
Nothing
don't
less
think
than
that
that.
could be definitively
Hold
like
on. Hey, before I lose my fucking
that.
train of thought. All right, you guys asked him if he ever bought Bitcoin. He said he bought Bitcoin and uses it on testnet. Um, let's see if that story backs up. Let's see if he actually did that. He still has those wallets. We can see the transactions on fucking testnet, and we can backtrack it to the dates.
oh, that's actually a pretty good point.
I mean, that doesn't mean shit. He didn't say I did it back then. He just said I've
But
done it
no,
before.
if we're trying to call him out on a lie, that's gonna be if he's lying about that. We're not gonna find that transaction or those wallets on testnet or proving that he was buying that shit. So like, there's one.
Yeah, I want to go back and listen to when he said that he used Bitcoin on
I
testnet.
honestly need to yeah, dude, I need to listen to this recording again.
Yeah, like the whole space all over
The
again
whole
too.
shit, bro.
Can we
Reaper,
delete
what's
the part
next,
where I
man?
got emotional?
What's that?
Can we delete the part where I got a little loud and emotional?
No, that we're gonna play that at the beginning as like a hook. Yeah,
Yeah,
Welcome to the
that's
clan.
that's the intro to every fucking tinfoil space we got going on now.
yeah, yeah. We need anger to draw people in. It's like the subtle foreshadowing. We need to do
Uh,
Yeah, next plan. I don't know. I like somebody said earlier that we can't just keep having them on spaces to be a punching bag. Like I agree with that. I don't think it helps us anyway. I feel like every time, 2 times now that he's gotten on space, I've become less convinced, and I'm like,
Dude,
so.
yeah.
I think that's just a human thing. I'm not trying to,
Yeah,
that's outside of any holes that could be poked in a story. It's just like I think like when you have somebody on the spot right there, it's so just kind of like point and tear apart, point and tear apart. It's just I think that's
So let's definitely
iffy.
like let's aim to have him in the telly before we do the next spaces. I think that once again gives us all a
Sure.
more like human like it humanizes him. It gives us access to him. It like makes him like less of like this. Honestly, because at this point he just seems like this big deal, bro. Like I don't think he even wants to really be this big deal. I think he's also ready to be like part of something, right? So I think just bringing him in the fold, talking to him in the Telegram as well as on Twitter. And then maybe by the time we have the next spaces, we have more clarity on like who he is, how he interacts with people, how he engages. It's more
Yeah,
informative for all of us. Like that's to me, that's like the
I
best game
agree.
plan.
Agree. I want to like spend some more time on how we can, the question is how can we prove who he is, who he's
Right.
saying he
Yeah,
is,
I agree with that.
without signing it. Like I want to spend some time thinking about that,
Yep.
and
I also feel like his demeanor, it almost seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. Does it feel that way to you guys? Like what he doesn't it kind of feels like he doesn't understand the repercussions of what he's about to fucking do type shit.
Yeah,
yeah, like
doesn't
He
really.
speak
I've been saying, like it doesn't
everything
sound
is
like he's serious.
nonchalant.
Like
Everything is
yeah,
nonchalant.
everything's super nonchalant, and I was kind of like, come on, like you got to know, like you've had to pay attention over the last couple of years, like you
Or
know how
maybe he
big of a deal
doesn't. I don't
Bitcoin is.
know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, once again, I think it was good. It's helpful to some degree. I'm glad that we're talking about it. I'm glad that I initially set out on this because I wanted this to happen. I wanted a bunch of people to take a look at this and look at it from all angles and try to tear it apart and build it up and have this dialogue. So I'm really glad and thankful for you guys for giving us time or giving me time. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming on and talking and looking at it with me. So. Spend some time, over the next couple of days, and we'll be talking in the Telegram. Just said, coming up with questions, like we said, how we could best answer that question of how can we sort of prove who he is, who he says he is, short of signing a transaction with the keys. So that's going to require a lot of research, I think, on Bitcoin itself and all of the other the messages that he's left on the forums, who he's talked to. Maybe reach out to people that if we can find were on the original Bitcoin, message boards, reach out to them and kind of explain the deal. And, it would be really cool to bring in some other high caliber people that were there, and
True.
be able to see what they think. And I
And
think
fun.
that's our next step.
I want to say this to you, bro. Like, I speak on definitely, certainly on behalf of myself, dude. I'll drop a heart for you right now, bro, because, like, no matter what, like, no matter which way this goes, bro, I really appreciate you, bro. You definitely have, like, you know what I mean, like, been like a point of contact with him. Definitely have held these spaces, bro. Just kept people in the loop. I know you got stuff going on in your life. You're preparing for something, but like, just know how Jetta feels about you, bro. Like, I really appreciate you, and like, you're the homie, bro. Like, I even wrote that post last night. Like, you always have a special place in my heart. Pause on that shit, but like, you're the homie, bro. Like, you've been definitely like a source of information for all of us. So you're goated, bro.
Yeah,
Like, no matter what,
well, I
you know what I'm
appreciate it,
saying?
man. I
That's
appreciate
facts.
it a lot.
That's big facts.
Just here
Hey, by
for.
the way, you guys know if this is bullshit, one of his friends is still hanging out here just laughing at us.
I know, yeah, he's listening, but oh, it won't be that. What's it called? Satanist, I guess.
Nothing we
I
can
won't, I
do.
won't think
But
that lowly of him. Yeah, I mean, it would be the funniest troll in the world, honestly. But I don't care. That's what I'm here for. It's like you scroll the timeline, look for alpha. I think this is a fun thing to explore.
would you sell Bitcoin? Nah, man, it's something I made.
Reaper,
Yeah.
can you actually find that original person that you follow who made this thread? I want to dig really, really deep to the origins of that.
Who
Good idea.
followed? You mean the person that just like tweeted it out?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, his name is Dimes, DYME. He's a big Twitter account. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
DYME?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who I saw. It was literally just a tweet like, "Ain't no way the DJs on Pump Fund found out who Satoshi was." Maybe you
Is
can
it
even like just search that
DymoX or Crypto Paradigm?
crypto paradigm. I think that's him.
Oh, that dude? Okay. The fuck?
I think that's him. I'm trying to. I have not gone back and looked for that tweet yet, but I will.
Okay. I'll look into it. Appreciate it, man.
Yep. All right. I
All right, boys.
will
Good night.
send the invite Telegram link to Brock, and hopefully he drops. Oh no, it's Dex. It's Dexter Vero. That's who it was. No way. Pump Fund just found out who Satoshi is. LMAO, January 30th. Dexter VRO.
Dexter VRO.
Yep. Dexter Vero. A little
All right.
smaller account, but yeah, he's.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
So he just tweeted about it. Yep. Okay, cool. Good talking with you guys. We'll keep talking. Let me know if you have any questions. You know where to find me. Deuces.